Well, hello guys. It's been 1 week off. It's awesome to be back. This is the Ron Henry Lawn Care live stream for those of you that are new tuning in, where I take your lawn care questions, do my best to answer them. So really, the show is all about you. I have a couple of topics, some questions that I got from the show from a couple of weeks ago that I need to revisit. But for the most part, I'm just looking forward to your questions and hanging out with you guys and having a great time talking lawn stuff. As I said already, last week I was off, so hopefully everyone had a safe and fun and happy Thanksgiving. 2020 hasn't exactly been the best year for us as a nation and also as the world. So it's hopefully you got to spend some time with your loved ones and catch up and really remembering what's really important. So let's see who we have tonight in the live stream. So Super TA has the honors of being first person to comment. We got Grass Thief. He's talking about putting in some Tahoma 31 come spring of next year. I like it. It's pretty awesome. So you're already making plans for renovation. So what are we doing? Is this going to be a new setup altogether? So are you gonna smoke your current grass, like currently burn out your current lawn and put in Tahoma 31, or what's the plan for that? So definitely give me some more details on that. We got Russell checking in. Grace is in. Thank you guys so much for being some the early visitors to the live stream. Let's see. Russell says he tore his first question of the evening comes from him, where he says that he tore his Achilles tendon. He had the surgery yesterday, reconstruction surgery yesterday. Ouch! I have a friend that had that done, and it can be that can be a rough recovery. Make sure you do all the stuff that your physical therapist is telling you, like the stretching and everything, to make sure you don't lose too much mobility as you heal up. But his question is, what can you do this winter from the front porch other than watching it turn brown? Man, I don't have a whole lot for you on that. I am right there in that boat with you. Hopefully you guys saw some of the video from this morning, from the video I released this morning, and also because that video was shot literally a couple days ago when we got some snow here. Not snow, but like frost on the lawn in Georgia. We've had a few days that were well below freezing in the 20s. So I'm on borrowed time. I was out looking at the lawn this afternoon and it was still green, which is good. There's still some green spots in the lawn, I should rather say. You guys have seen how it's progressing, but the Arden 15 parts of the lawn is still hanging in there. So we'll see, man. It'd be cool to see how much longer Arden 15 holds on. So let's see who else we have here in the live stream. So we got Tiffany stepping in tonight. Hey, Tiffany, hope all is well with you. David Polenko, thank you so much for checking in, man. Thanks for spending some time to hang out this evening. Who else we got here? Patrick Forsyth, you do have a question, so let's hear the question. No, you can't say, hey, I have a question to ask a question. Just ask the question, right? But thanks for coming in tonight, Patrick. Let's see, Sunny Bermuda in the house. Sunny, how's it going, man? I'm sure, I know you've already put your lawn to bed for the winter. The Twiftway 419 is out to sleep, but always love your content, man. And thank you for spending some time with me tonight on the live stream. Let's see. So JG, thanks for checking in. Awesome. Thanks for coming in tonight, man. Chris Balducci, guy with the best name. Thanks for spending some time tonight. And awesome. LG in Northwest Iowa. I'm sure LG, you had snow probably for weeks, if not months already, right? Being in Northwest Iowa. Stan G's in the house. And then Linton. So let's get to the first question. The first question from Sunny Bermuda. Awesome question. Love this one. He says, what's your primary lawn goal for 2021? Okay, my main goal, if you guys have been following the series I've been doing on showing the difference between Tifway 419 and Arden 15, and you're seeing how the Arden, it took really well. The front lawn went really well. But in the back lawn, there are a few areas where, a big channel there where the Arden 15 didn't take as well. So my main goal for 2021 is to oversee the back lawn again with Arden 15. So I'm not doing pre-emergent in the spring. I'm just going to have to just tolerate any kind of weeds that I have to deal with. And I'm going to verticut the lawn. So based on something I saw from the guys at RealWorks, when I was down there visiting them, they have 3 plots there, and they got really good results overseeding their Tifway 419 with rye by doing a verticut 2 ways. So they cut the verticut lengthwise, and then they came back and cut perpendicular, and then they overseed, and they got really good results with that. So I'm going to try that next spring once conditions are right. And my goal is to get the entire lawn by this time next year, when it starts to go dormant, that it's pretty much evenly green throughout. That's the goal. So I want to give Arden 15 another go And I'm a glutton for punishment, so that's the main goal. Studying Bermuda for next season, spring of 2021. I might be able to convince him to doing a top dress just in the back lawn, but mainly the main goal is just to do an overseed again to even things up. What are your goals? What are your plans for 2021? Definitely drop them in the comment below. So all you guys that are also in the live stream, let me know. Let's Study Bermuda opened up a really good topic here. So if you guys have big plans for next season, whether it be a renovation or you're gonna get a real mower, maybe equipment goals or something, let me know in the live stream below. I'd definitely like to hear about that. Let's see. So who else do we have here? So Patrick Forsyth, he steps in and he has a question. He says, I think it's a question. Let's see. He says, my client has a horrible lawn. When the house was built, it was filled in with bad soil and full of weeds. I can't get it fixed, and I think the client thinks I'm a snake oil seller. Huh. Yeah, that's a tough one, Patrick. I mean, if you're, I imagine you're in the lawn care industry, in the lawn care business. So what I'm thinking is if you're dealing with a client and their soil is just really bad, something that I might recommend doing is let's get a soil test. And if you haven't done one as yet, let's test the soil in the client's lawn and kind of help them appreciate that, hey, if your grass isn't growing properly with everything that you're putting down, the products you're putting down, I'm sure you're doing like pre-emergence and a proper fertilizer, and you have your system that works perhaps on your other customers' lawns, and help them to appreciate that, hey, if their particular lawn is not doing well, we need to figure out why. So kind of make it a collaborative effort, work with them on getting a soil test done. If you need a good soil test, I like the one from My Soil. It's easy to use. The results turn around really quickly, and I've got videos on how to do that. If you need to get one, I think I have a link here somewhere. So you can go there, ron-henry.com/soil test, and the package looks something like that. And I think if you approach it from that standpoint, that you're not trying to say, hey, well, your lawn sucks and too bad, sucks for you, and help them realize that you're truly trying, that you want to work with them on fixing whatever the problem is, you could probably gain some rapport and save the account. I mean, even if you pay for the test, I mean, it's $30. You might be able to get them concerted to do it, but I mean, if you come to them and say, hey, listen, I'm going to invest $30 in your lawn to try and help you get things better, showing them that you're going to get a soil test done. A week from now, you're going to have the results, and you'll be able to come up with a plan of actions to try and fix whatever's wrong with the soil. That's probably going to go a long way, because here's the thing: if they leave you, if they tell you they don't want your services anymore and they go to someone else, they're going to have the same problem, right? So at least give them the opportunity to realize that it's not just, you're not a snake oil salesman. Like, really, growing good grass, growing a good lawn really isn't that complicated, right? Once the soil is in good shape, and you're cutting it regularly, it's just feeding it and making sure you're managing macronutrient levels, pH levels, and the grass does its thing after that. So that would be my advice. I would just talk to them. Try and make it a collaborative effort. Don't make it a blame thing. Just kind of say, hey, let's take a look at your soil. Let's try and figure out exactly what's going on with it, and see if they're willing to go down that road with you to correct it. Just help them to realize that whatever the results come back with, it's not an overnight thing. Like, your macronutrients you can fix pretty quickly, but if you do a soil test and their pH is like 3 or 4, it's going to be a process to kind of bring those levels up, and likewise, if they're too high, it's going to be a process to bring them down. So just help them to realize that it's a process to fix the soil, but getting a test done is the first step in that. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's see who else we have here. Stan G's in the house. Linton, he says, question. He says, can I get a lawn that low without a real mower? Can you get a lawn to look like, I guess, yes. Can you cut low? Yes. In my opinion, about an inch is about the reasonable, that's about the limit of where you can get down to with a rotary, assuming you've got a relatively flat turf. I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of, I was watching a video of the soccer fields that they cut over in Europe. They cut those guys with they don't cut them all with real mowers. They cut them with these really big, wide rotary mowers. But that pitch is completely flat. It's like glass smooth, right? So they're able to cut, at relatively lower heights. I don't know what height they're cutting at. It looks like probably an inch and a quarter, somewhere around there. And they're able to achieve that. So a lot of the determining factor of how low you're going to be able to cut with a rotary is going to be what your turf looks like. So if you've got a really flat lawn, you'll be able to get away with going a little bit lower on that rotary, assuming you're willing to top dress a lawn. So I mean, it's two things. One, the grade of your lawn, and also how smooth it is. There's two different things, right? Because even if you have say take my front lawn, right? it's relatively smooth, but the grade is not flat. So even with a rotary, you're going to be limited on how low you can go with a rotary on that type of lawn, just simply because it's incredibly unforgiving if there's any kind of a dip or you press too hard in one direction. Like, it's very easy to scalp. So you can get a great looking lawn with a rotary mower. I'm not going to say that. I mean, it's absolutely possible. There's tons of people that have awesome looking lawns that are rotaries, but they just tend to cut them a little bit higher. If you're looking for that super tight golf course look, that cropped look where it's, it looks like you're standing on carpet, where grass almost looks fake, that AstroTurf look, you're going to need a real mower to do that. So, I mean, it's, there's a couple ways to do that, go about it. You can get a manual reel mower to start, depending on how big your property is. That's what I did. And then maybe move into a powered one. But I mean, ultimately, one of the best things, not one of the best things, the best thing, at least my belief is the best thing you can do for your lawn outside of getting the soil in good shape is cutting it with a proper mower regularly at the right height. And if you have a warm season grass, a rotary mower, a real mower is really the best tool for the job. So hopefully that helps. But I mean, yes, you can get a great lawn, but if you want that awesome look, you're gonna need to invest in a real mower of some kind. Let's see here. So Wind Chariot says his lawn is still green also. He's got some seed heads before the frost. Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy this year, man. So it's, for me, I say it's a combination of the carbon that I've added to the lawn, I've been doing on the lawn this year, and also that Arden 15. I am definitely a believer in that grass type, man. I mean, it's like, the experiment is kind of cool because it obviously, my lawn looks kind of splotchy because of the different colors between where the Arden took and where the Tifway is, but it really shows you how like some of these synthetic or these hybrid seeds, these of Bermuda, like the Arden 15 can do really, really well as far as preserving that green that much longer as cool weather sets in. So pretty awesome. Yeah, Linton. So if your goal is to have a golf course lawn, man, it's going to require cutting it like a golf course. Like think about it. Golf courses, when they cut the greens with real mowers. They cut the tee boxes with real mowers. The fairways, they maybe can get away with a rotary, but I mean, like even the fairways, they cut with a cylinder mower, with a real mower, because that's the proper tool to achieve that type of cut without scalping and doing a lot of undue damage to the turf. So I'm going to say real mower is probably what you're going to be after. That's going to be my thing. Because here's the thing, though, even when you get a real mower, it's not like you get a real mower and a month later your lawn looks incredible. It's a process, man. So it's really the first year you get a real mower, like say this spring, say you bought one earlier this spring, you said you're going to invest in one. Like next year, you're going to be training the grass to get used to being cut like that. Maybe you can also consider top dressing. So that first season, maybe even the first season and a half, it's going to be an adjustment period, right? But the lawn is going to look, incredible in comparison to what you can achieve with a rotary. So hopefully that kind of helps you realize that I think that investing in one is probably worth it if you really, really want that golf course lawn look. Let's see. So goals for 2021. 209 has an interesting goal. He says, my goal is to figure out why tenacity killed my new grass. It completely smoked it. Went from the greenest lawn in the neighborhood to the ugliest. What kind of grass do you have, 209? Because if memory serves me, tenacity is safe for cool season grass. If you put it on warm season grass, that could be part of your problem. I'm sure some of the guys here will chime in and let me know, but yeah, if memory serves me, tenacities, you don't want to be putting that on a warm season grass. So let me know. I'll follow up with you, Subord. Let me know what kind of grass you have, and we can figure it out. Also, maybe if the application rate that you used, maybe it was a little bit heavy-handed. That could also have caused the issue. Because tenacity is typically a pretty good product, but it's not one that you want to be using on the wrong grass type at the wrong rate. Okay, you said you had a tall fescue. Yeah, it should be good for that, man. I'm guessing maybe the application rate. Maybe double check how much of it you used. And we can see from there. But it should be fine on that particular type of grass. It should be fine on a tall fescue, assuming you didn't go heavy handed. Because a lot of these herbicides, when they say it's point whatever ounces per gallons or square foot covered, like you absolutely have to follow that. If anything, with herbicides, you want to err on the low end. Less is better. You can always put more down later, but too much can be detrimental. And the fact that it completely smoked your entire lawn, like you didn't just have like certain areas that were splotchy. makes me think that you probably went a little heavy-handed. Maybe the application rate was a little bit heavier than it should have been. That's what I'm thinking. So sorry to hear that. The lawn will bounce back, and you know, we'll see how it does. Let me know. Keep me posted. Let's see who else we have in the house here. Jeremy White, the man who's got the goals for technology, a career in technology. Hope everything is going well. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I'm doing well. I'm freezing. You know, here's the thing. My lawn's turning brown, starting to turn yellow. So I'm wearing my green shirt tonight. You guys know in the last few live streams I've been wearing the black shirt with the stripe action, but tonight I got to wear the green because it helps. You know, it gives me some good vibes, and maybe it'll help the lawn realize it needs to stay green just a little bit longer. I mean, I'm really hoping if I can make it through 2020 with the Arden 15 parts still kind of green, I'll consider that a win, because we've already had temps all the way down in the 20s in Georgia. And you know, I just really want to push it. I want to see how well that grass will go. So the green shirt tonight is to send some good vibes to the lawn. Let's see. Around the house with Pat. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for checking in tonight. Awesome. Russell's plans are for next year. His plan is to remove an oak tree from the front yard and plug to fill in the spot. Also begin my first mow with a reel mower along with a top dress. Big plans. That's awesome, dude. So you got a lot of plans. So removing the oak tree, that's a big deal, because you're gonna have to probably smooth that area out a little bit. If you're gonna remove it, I like the idea. I like what you're saying about plugging that spot. I mean, don't do what I did. I put down sod, which didn't completely match, and that's what led me to doing the whole overseeding thing. So the fact that you're gonna use sod. You're gonna plug the areas where the oak tree was, I think is a great idea. Now it's not gonna look great, you know, starting out, because you have to wait for the Bermuda to take off and begin spreading. I'm assuming you're dealing with Bermuda. But yeah, just be patient, and overall you're gonna get a better look, a more even color if you're just doing transplants. So that's pretty awesome, man. And you're just getting started with the reel mower. Pretty awesome, man. Awesome stuff. On the topic of reel mowers, I got to show you guys something. I see here's the reason why you guys need to join the live stream, because you guys get some behind the scenes stuff that, you know, people that just kind of watch the content on the channel don't get to see first. So you guys know, went down to Reelworks a couple of weeks ago, and those guys were awesome. If you are looking for a swordsman, that's the place to get it from. And also the guys that are there are just they're awesome set of guys. They love mowing, they love reel mowers. So when I was there, I expressed, I said, you know, we were having the conversation about grooved rollers versus smooth rollers, and I was talking about how much I liked my cut on the Greensmaster. And I said, you know, I wonder how much a grooved roller would make, what kind of difference that would make on the true cut. So guys, you know, in order to answer that question, the guys at Reelworks hooked me up with, I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I mean, look at all of that grooved roller loveliness. This is one of their grooved rollers. It's actually sharp. The edges of this are pretty sharp. This guy is going to make an appearance on the True Cut next season. So what my plans are, I've been trying to hold back on putting it on, because I really want to make a video installing this and getting out there and mowing with it. But I'm thinking, in the name of science, here's how we're going to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till next season. I'm going to resist the urge to install it. I'm going to wait till next season. Once the lawn starts growing in, I'm going to do maybe 4 or 5 passes with the solid roller. And then we're going to install this. And then I'm going to cut another section of the lawn right next to it with the grooved roller. And you guys are going to be able to see, you know, what the differences are, like how, you know, the groove versus smooth. It's going to show you right then and there how much of a difference it can make. Because what that might tell you guys is, you know, maybe you don't need to get a Greensmaster. Maybe you don't need a greens mower. Maybe the True Cut with a grooved roller might be the ticket, might be all you need. So you see, you guys are seeing this. You guys are the only ones that know about this. I haven't told anyone else about this. You guys are the first ones to hear about it. This is what's going to be happening next year. And I'm probably not going to make a video on it until next year, but you guys get the inside scoop. So don't tell anybody, unless they watch the live stream afterwards, then they'll find out. But you know, you guys are on the inner circle. Let's see. What else do we have here? Who else is checking in? Let me go and welcome everyone else in here. Let's see. Alan stepped in. Hey, thanks for still coming in, Alan. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you, everyone. Let's see. What other questions we have? Hey, Edward. Thank you so much for stopping in, Edward Bonet. I think it's Bonet, right? Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. But thanks for spending some time to come in. And 209. A lot of these other guys are saying that it's probably the rate that you used, man. Okay, so let's see what other comments we have here. The Wind Chariot says deciding on what reel mower to buy is not simple. It really isn't simple. But if you guys want, I'm not going to go on a huge tirade on this, but I mean, just to, as far as reel mowers, guys, so there, in my mind, there are like three classes. There's three, well, not three, there's different levels. So you can start with the manual reel mower, which is how I started. Great option. I mean, if you want to get your toe, just kind of step in and see what kind of difference it can make, go for that. The next tier up, you've got like your California trimmers, your McLanes. A lot of people put True Cut in that. I mean, I personally think True Cuts are maybe slightly a cut above because of the way the drive system of it works, and that you can vary it. You can vary the mowing speed separate from the clip rate. But I mean, I'm sure I'll get pushback on that. I'm a little bit biased, obviously. But then you have this new range, like the Swardsman, like the Allett. Man, they make a really good value proposition because, you know, for the money that you're going to spend on a brand new True Cut, you could get into a Swardsman, you could get into an Allett, and then you have that cartridge system where you could do, you know, you can do your verticutting, you can do your scarifying, you can do the brush for putting in top dressing. So, you know, that's a hard one to pass up. And then above that, you have like your John Deere's, like, and your Toros, your Greensmasters, your actual greens mowers, which is a different tier altogether and a whole different level set of hassle that goes along with that. But the quality of cut you get with them is incredible. So, but to your point, Wind Chariot, I agree. It is not a simple question to answer as far as which reel mower to go with, but it's a good problem to have, right? It's a good problem to have. The big thing I would say is what I would use to weigh in on your decision-making process is look into what you can get serviced in your area. So find out like where you got a nearby dealer, who can service it, who can work on it, how easy it is for you to get parts to fix it, because it's going to break at some point. And that should be one of the most important things you look at, you know, in your decision-making process. And then obviously, you know, your budget and what kind of cuts you have and what your lawn's like, those kinds of things. So awesome. Great comment. More Marcilio, thank you for checking in, man. Awesome. Thanks for chiming in tonight. Awesome. Thanks for chiming in tonight. And I agree, Wind Chariot. I do think that it is carbon. I think carbon has a big part of why it is still green. LG has a question for me. He says, when grinding your reel, do you do a spin grind or a relief grind? I don't know. That's a good question. I've never actually specified. I just kind of take the mower to them and I say, sharpen it and get it back to me, so I'm good to go for the season. And they do their thing and they bring it back to me, and I'm good. I've never actually specified what kind of a grind to put on it. I imagine for the different types of mowers, like for the Swardsman, they made I think the Swardsman like a spin grind, I believe is what I think the guys down there were telling me. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can correct me on that. Those of you guys, the Swardsman, can chime in and let me know what kind of grind you put on yours. But I to be honest, LG, I never say anything to when I've taken my True Cut to the shop that does the Keystone in Duluth that does the work on it. I've dropped it off to them and said, hey, sharpen it up for me. And they just, whatever they do is what they do. And the mower always cuts great. I've not yet taken the Greensmaster in to have it sharpened as yet. So I don't know, but that one, the Greensmaster will probably go to Reel Works, not Reel Work. I will go to the local reel sharpening place here nearby that does all they do is sharpen mowers and work on them. So I might take the Greensmaster there and we'll see. I'll tell you what though, I will ask them what kind of cut or grind they put on it when they do it. So great question. I should know that. Let's see. LG chimes in. He says, yeah, tenacity tends to damage fescue a lot easier than rye and Kentucky bluegrass. So it's probably, I think, but again, it's from my understanding, LG, I think that that tenacity is supposed to be safe for fescue, but it's, you know, application rate. Maybe fescue is a little bit more sensitive than the rye or the Kentucky bluegrass. So if you went a little heavy, again, that'll do it. C Hill, he says, year warm season and you use tenacity. Yeah, so I know that I believe if you read the label for it, like you're not supposed to put that stuff on Bermuda, at least not Bermuda that's actively growing anyway. Like if you did it right now, when Bermuda's about to go into dormancy, you're probably going to be okay. But I don't, you know, here's the thing. There's so many options for herbicides. It makes sense to just use the one that is designed for your particular grass type. So, I mean, for me as a warm season guy, I don't see the need to really risk it. You know, I mean, if the scenario where I would see where tenacity makes a lot of sense is say you have like I've gotten some questions where people have had like a cool season grass and they've had some Bermuda encroaching and they've used tenacity to try and burn the Bermuda out to get rid of the Bermuda. I've seen that done, but as a warm season guy, I've never really considered it. even though it's a great product, just because it's like if I mess up with it, it's not really designed for my grass type. So I don't, I just try and stay away from it if at all possible. Let's see. So yes, LG chimes in. He tells you, yes, so as far as your rate, you don't want to exceed 4 ounces per acre. Yeah, so just read the label. Whatever the label says, go with that. If anything, go a little bit lighter. You could always put more on a few weeks from now. Once you put it down, taking it off is not so easy as you are seeing. And then Super TA, his experience with tenacity, says he's had it bleach some areas of cool season grass. You have to be very, very careful how much you use. Yeah, so tenacity, yeah, I mean, again, it just comes down to application rate. When it comes to herbicides, when it comes to PGRs, really just follow the rate. Like follow the rate or go a little bit lighter. I mean, the thing is, you'll see with fertilizers are tend to be a little bit more forgiving as far as rate. If you go a little bit heavier, if you go 10%, 15%, maybe even 20% over rate, you're probably not going to do too much damage. But with herbicides, you absolutely can, because that's part of why you guys saw my video I did on getting rid of spurge. Even when you put down something like, or not spurge, nutsedge, even if you put down something like Image, right? Which Image is a really, really good product for killing nutsedge. Even though it's safe for warm season grass, you still get a little bit of yellowing. You get a little bit of a light yellowing when you put that stuff down. So any kind of herbicide, even though it says it's safe for a particular grass type, doesn't mean that it's not going to stress the turf or not going to introduce some kind of maybe mild yellowing. So just realize it. Just because it's safe for that grass type doesn't mean you can go heavy, super heavy handed with it. Awesome, awesome stuff. And guys, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, make sure you guys on your way in, as you're sitting down with your beverage of choice and or you're eating your meal or burrito, whatever you're doing, make sure you hit that like button on the way in, man. Just, helps the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying it, we're having a good time, and it hopefully will send more people here to ask more questions. Let's see. So Windcherry says he put together a package for the Swardsman. And you had sticker shock. Yeah, I mean, it can add up. I mean, that's one thing. I don't know what the cartridges cost. I mean, if you don't mind, post in the chat what the what the Scarifier and what the Verticutter, what those different options cost. I imagine there's probably a price difference between them depending on what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea. It's one question I didn't ask the guys. What question I didn't ask the guys down there when I visited them. So yeah, definitely find out if you don't mind posting that down there as well for me. All right. Let's see. Jeremy says cybersecurity is going pretty well. Learning algorithms. Awesome stuff. Very, very cool. All right. We got a question from Ray Moore. He says, Ron, some parts of my lawn has common Bermuda. I'm thinking about scalping it next season and then overseeding with Arden 15. My goal is to get Arden 15 taking over that area. What do you think? It can work. I mean, here's the thing. Part of why I did this series, in addition to trying to slowly drive Frankie crazy, because he hates like different colored grasses and stuff, is to show you guys that are considering overseeding what to expect. Because there's a reason why a lot of like lawn care people will tell you not to overseed Bermuda with other types of Bermuda in general, right? Because most people are not willing to put up with the color difference that I am dealing with right now, right? So just realize that if you're going to overseed your common with Arden, make sure that you're willing to deal with some color differences, at least for the first year. And also realize that how well a job you do getting that seed down is really going to weigh heavily in the kind of results that you get. So, that's going to mean doing a scalp. It's going to be a couple things. One, I would try to do everything I could right now to kind of get the soil in as good shape as possible. How you do that? Get a soil test done. So if you haven't done a soil test, get a soil test done. Make sure your soil is as good a shape as possible. Once we've got that established, you're going to scalp the lawn. You're going to clean it up, get all the material that you scalped off of it. The results of the guys got that put in that verticut their lawn before overseeding with perennial rye looked really, really good. So I would consider doing that. So I would consider make sure the soil's healthy, scalp it, verticut it. So make sure you've got lots of pores, lots of areas opened up in the lawn for it to for the seed to be able to have good seed to soil contact and also thin out the existing Bermuda. And then you got to keep it moist. You got to keep it wet. You got to make sure that the lawn does not go dry at all at any point. You want to make sure that the seeds stay well. So yes, you can do it, but just know what you're getting into. That's the only advice I would give you. Awesome. So hopefully that helps answer your question. We got a couple super chats here I got to take care of. Russell, thank you so much for the super chat, sir.
Received.
You're right. Go Dogs. Go Dogs, right? I mean, at least we got to have something good happening in Georgia. The Falcons can't win a game to say, well, they won last week. So, I mean, I guess that's good. But in general, the Dogs are going to have to be our hope for Georgia football for this season. And Cheryl, also thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thanks for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys' lawns are doing well. I know, Cheryl, you got that Zoysia. We were dealing with that that nuts edge issue. So hopefully the combination of Sedgehammer and Image, that combination that SMK gave on the last live stream, is working well for you to kind of get that nuts edge knocked out. So awesome stuff. And if as always, if you need any help with anything, definitely reach out to me and I will do my best to help out. All right, Sea Hill, thanks for the words of wisdom. You're in Florida. Man, I bet you guys still have warm weather there. Congrats. I mean, it's cold here in Georgia. I think it's 50 degrees. I just checked my phone for the live stream start. It's 50 degrees right now in my area, but it's been getting down into freezing, these nights here. So hopefully we get a break here soon. A comment. It's just obviously he just really likes the t-shirt. Awesome, man. So I'm glad that you like the t-shirt. I'm glad you like the fit of it and everything. And for those of you guys that do want your very own stripe action t-shirt, the Ron Henry merch, while I'm answering this question, I'm going to shameless plug. I'm going to put that up here where you can also go, the youtube.com/Ron Henry/store, where you can obtain your Ron Henry merch. So the theory behind the logo, let me quit kidding around. Okay, so if you look at the logo, the idea was I wanted something that said social media and also YouTube. So if you look, and it doesn't always come across very clearly, it's like two chat messages, two people sending messages back and forth. That's what it's supposed to look like. Right here, it's like two people texting or messaging back and forth. And if you look, you see the blue little triangle there. It's like a play button. So it's like a YouTube play button. So I probably thought a little bit too deeply into when I had the logo made up, but that's the idea behind it, because I like really interacting with you guys. Hopefully that's evident. The fact that I try and respond to everybody's comments and respond to every email that I get. So the idea behind the logo is that it's about collaboration, talking about, whatever topic we're discussing. And because I'm using YouTube as the platform that I use primarily for interacting with you guys, that's why it's got the play button. So that's the theory behind the logo. I've never been asked that before. Great question, but now you know. Awesome. Okay, so Stan, next question. He says that his goal next year is to top dress his Empire Zoysia in 2021. List some steps I need to do first and how early I should get started. March or April in South Carolina. Okay, awesome. So if you're gonna top dress your Empire, your Zoysia, the method, considering that I've done 3 top dresses this year, I think I am an authority on what I think will achieve a good result when it comes to top dressing. So what I would do for you, if you're gonna next year, first of all, March is too early. You want to wait till there's some heat in the lawn, and the grass is starting to it's growing vigorously, so it'll recover faster. But the sequence is going to be, we're going to aerate the lawn. We're going to put down a starter fertilizer of some sort, like a 1010, something, just a little kicker, a little nitrogen kicker to kind of stimulate some growth. If your budget can support it, I would highly recommend that you apply CarbonPro G. Reason for that is an amazing organic, substance, organic product that you're going to put into the lawn. It's going to feed the soil. You're going to get some microbial activity in it. You're going to be putting some carbon in the lawn. It's pure win. And then on top of that, we're going to top dress with only river sand. So aerate, follow that up with a starter fertilizer, follow that up with CarbonPro G, and then top dress with river sand. And that's going to get you a really good result, because we're going to be feeding the soil with some organic material. We're going to be having a starter fertilizer in there to kind of stimulate that growth. And as far as a time when I would consider doing that, again, it's all based on temperature, but you want the entire lawn to obviously be out of dormancy and growing vigorously. I would say mid-May is probably when I would look to consider start top dressing. That's a good time, because you're starting to get some heat then. The grass should be, the lawn should be completely out of dormancy at that point. And you're still going to benefit from some of the spring showers. So we should still be getting some rain in South Carolina. So you're not going to have to water as much to help the lawn come back. I would say from May to early June is the ideal time, and I would go for top dressing. As far as things you need to do, just run your normal lawn care programs. On the on my blog right here, I've got an abbreviated, well, not really, I have a full featured like application calendar at the end of that blog post, so check that out. I don't think I don't have in there is on carbon application, but literally in there I talk about adding pre-emergent, aerating, fertilizer, like when I would do it in what sequence, and I would follow that. But really, when it's specifically for top dressing, that is a sequence I would do: aerate, fertilize, carbon, sand, and then it's gonna come back really nice. It's gonna look awesome, and that's how I would go about doing it. All right. Edward Boneas asked the question. He says, "Can I apply speed zone like tenacity is applied?" It's a good question. I want to overseed, but I want to apply both so I can get rid of some weeds. Kentucky bluegrass, perennial rye, and tall fescue. Edward, what kind of grass, what kind of lawn do you have? If you can, list your grass type. Okay, so you have KBJ, because that's what you have. You have a blend. You have rye, fescue, and Kentucky bluegrass. So tenacity is both a post-emergent, and it's one of the few, if memory serves me, it's one of the few selective pre-emergents. So I mean, again, key word, it shouldn't hurt seed germination for those grass types. But I would want to check the label before I give you an answer. But I do know that unlike a lot of pre-emergents, like barricade, that's like it'll like interrupt seed germination pretty much across the board. I'm pretty certain tenacity is one of the unique ones in that it's selective in what it will interrupt. So let me do some research into that. And if you don't mind, Edward, drop me an email here, Ron at ron-henry.com. And then I'll be able to get you a better answer. As far as doing speed zone and tenacity, I don't know that I'd really want to smack both of them. I do either or, man. Just do one and see what kind of results you get. And then if you need to, you can follow it up with something else. But I mean, just in general, you want to limit how much herbicides you put on your lawn. If my thing would be to put like none if you can avoid it. Outside of like pre-emergent, avoid using herbicides on your lawn. It's just better for the environment, better for your lawn in general. So I would do one or the other. I wouldn't do both unless there's a specific type of weed that you're trying to get rid of. Like a good example, like when I was trying to get rid of spurge in my lawn this year, right? I used a combination of speed zone and dismiss. And the reason for that is spurge is like incredibly tenacious to get rid of. So we used a concoction that was definitely going to smoke it out, was definitely going to kill it. But my Bermuda took a spanking for it. Like Bermuda got slightly yellow from doing that combination. So unless there's a reason why you're trying to combine tenacity and speed zone, like there's a particular type of weed you're trying to target, I wouldn't do that. I would only go that route if there's a specific problem you're trying to solve, and it's been proven that combination of herbicides is the ticket for doing it. I wouldn't just do it. I wouldn't do it unless there's a good reason to do that. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. David. Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. With the roller. Yep, guys, I'm really looking forward to getting the roller in. I got to catch up. I'm way behind on my comments here. Alan, again, thanks for the happy holidays. Let's see. The Green Gardener asked the question, what are some of the initial signs of fungal infections in the lawn? Newly seeded tall fescue in early October. Beautiful results. But now I'm starting to see mild, jagged appearing blade ends and scant brown tips. Okay. That could be lawn fungus. It could also mean your mower, the blade, your mower blade needs to be sharpened. Jagged edges. I mean, that if you're, I'm assuming you're cutting with a rotary mower, because you said you got like a tall fescue. So if that blade isn't sharp, it can tear. It can cause some tearing, which will cause those jagged edges that you're seeing, which can also help, promote fungus or promote lawn disease in general. As far as without pictures, I can't tell you for sure. But if you're seeing those like the tips are looking brown, that could be the sign of some kind of lawn fungus. But could also just mean that your lawnmower blade just needs to be sharpened. In other words, if you just did, let me see, you just newly seeded with tall fescue. If you have not sharpened your rotary blades this year, this season, then I'm going to say, let's start with that first. Before we put down any kind of fungicides, let's check the physical stuff first to make sure we're using a good and sharp blade on the turf before we go the route of applying any kind of fungicides. But what you're describing is along the lines, like the lawn will turn brown. It'll start turning brown and splotchy in areas without any kind of real reason, or I think nothing you can really necessarily attribute to it. But not using a sharp blade will help promote that. Will help promote lawn disease and fungus and all these kinds of nasties. But check your blade first prior to putting down any kind of fungicide. If you are, once you check it, let's say your blades are good, everything is good. The fungicides from Syngenta are the ones that I really like. You can use Caravan G, which is a combination insecticide and fungicide. But if you want the baller one, if you want the best, like one of the best products you can use as far as fungicide, use a product called Headway G. It contains two different active ingredients. One of them is it starts with an X. I can't pronounce AX. I can't pronounce the first one. I'll mess up saying it. The second one is proprazole. Hang on, I'll tell you right here. Actually, I don't want to make a liar out of me. I'll tell you what it is. Here it is. Okay, so the first active ingredient is azoxystrobin, toya, and the second one is propiconazole. So let me show you what that looks like, what the bag actually looks like. This product, if after you've checked your lawnmower blades, you checked your blades and we've determined that your blades are sharp, all that's good. As far as what you can use to get rid of lawn fungus, like Headway G, this is a baller product. This is the one that I would use. It's like $86, as you can see here on Do My Own, but it contains 2 different active ingredients which will treat most lawn fungus, most diseases. So that's the one I would go with after you check it. And if you need to know where you can pick it up, I think I've got a link here somewhere. Yep, I do. That you can use there on Do My Own to pick it up. But again, make sure that the physical stuff is correct first before you go down the route of like throwing all kinds of fungicides and other products on your lawn. And you're saying considering fungal versus normal dormancy. It could be dormancy. It could be the lawn going dormant. But if the edges are jagged, like that's from something. That's not like the lawn doesn't, like the edges of the turf don't just get jagged just from the lawn going dormant. I'm gonna say check your mower. That's gonna be my my recommendation. Let's see. Grace kind of chimes in as well. She says, "Yeah, are your blades sharpened?" Yep, that's it exactly. Splash Meyer says, "Glad I found time for your live stream this week. Thank you so much, man. I know you're busy. Well, now's a good time, right? Because really, we don't have anything else to really do. Around the holiday season, it's cold outside. You can't really mow as much. And on a Friday evening, hope it's probably a slow week, the week after Thanksgiving. So hang out and chat about lawn care stuff. There are worse things to do, right? All right." And of course, I knew that Pat would chime in. He says he's very happy with his Swardsman. He's going to be cutting this weekend with it for the 5th time. I'm sure you are, man. Swardsman, I was very, very impressed with it. It's a great mower. It's a really, really good mower. I was really impressed with how close it got to the quality of cut that I get with my Greensmaster. Again, the guys at Real Rollers are awesome guys, and it's great mower. Great mower, great option. I'm not sure what other options you got with it, but Real Rollers, yeah, that is. I'm sure you probably got it from them. Let's see. Splash chimes in. He says, "I got a grooved roller from Real Rollers from my trimmer a couple months back, and it keeps the stripes super straight and the cut is clean." I like to hear that, man. Awesome. I am looking forward to seeing how the True Cut does once I get this thing on it. For any of you guys that are chiming in, just joining, what we're talking about is this bad boy here. Look at this. Look at all of that grooved roller awesomeness. This is going on the True Cut next season, and that's what Splash's comment is in reference to. So we'll see how much of a difference a grooved roller makes. Thanks again so much to the guys at Real Rollers for their generosity in supplying me with one. That's really, really awesome. Looking forward to seeing how it works. All right. Gray says Greenworks. She's using a Greenworks 60 volt Pro. Cedric says, I don't have any questions tonight, but I smashed the like button. Happy holidays to you and your family. Strap action for life. Yes, sir. I like it. I like it. And if you guys want to follow Cedric's, example, definitely smash that like button. Punish that like button, man. Let YouTube know that we're having a great time tonight. And again, helps the channel out. It's free for you guys to use and to do, and it's I'd appreciate it. Awesome. Let's see what other questions we have here. Alan Maglore says, other than the upfront cost, what are the operating costs for a reel mower? Awesome question. Awesome question, Alan. So in addition to the upfront cost, which is really the biggest thing, with a reel mower, getting it annually, you're going to want to get the mower sharpened at least once per season, like either sharpened or backlap. Just make sure the reel and bed knife are freshened up, that your tolerances are where they need to be, so you get a good quality of cut. That is probably your biggest cost difference, because the cost of getting a reel, like the cutting instrument for a reel roller, for a reel mower sharpened up, can cost anywhere between $75 to $100. That's what typically what you'll see. It can cost a little bit more, but somewhere in that area is typically a safe bet. Whereas getting a rotary mower sharpened can be $15, $20, right? Or you can just buy a new blade, because the blade is almost like a throwaway item if you don't feel like sharpening it. So the cost of sharpening is probably the biggest expense. As far as other things, on a mower, it depends which mower you get too. On a mower like a Greensmaster from Toro, those they're belt driven. So eventually the belts will wear out. Belts are a wear and tear item, but they don't break that often. I mean, on the Greensmaster, getting the side belts replaced, you're looking at I think it was like $18 what it cost me to get mine replaced. So it's not terribly expensive. If you have a Swardsman, that's one really good thing about the Swardsman. The cost of replacement parts is really inexpensive, really affordable. I think Lee and Andrew, I think they were telling me that the price of like the belt, the drive belt, is something like $9 or something like that for that one. You replace it once per season, just as preventative maintenance. And then the bed knife is under $30, I think. So it's not terribly expensive a piece of equipment to maintain. But your biggest thing is the sharpening cost. Outside of that, it's just gas and oil, and put a fresh plug in it, once per season. But I mean, so really, if you're comparing it to a rotary, the biggest difference, the biggest delta in cost is the cost of sharpening the reel and bed knife. Outside of that, it's really not that bad. So I would wholeheartedly recommend it. It's honestly, if you have a warm season grass, it's one of the best decisions you can make for warm season lawn. You're going to love the way your lawn looks once you go to a reel mower. They're pretty awesome. Let's see what other questions we have. Hey, bro, said he was sorry you're late. It's okay, you're late, but you're here. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. LG says that the active ingredient tenacity blocks chlorophyll production, which kills the weed, but also results in some temporary bleaching. So there you go. That's where you're getting some bleaching whenever you use tenacity. Small Southern Lawn. Hey man, thanks for chiming in, man. No problem. Hey, and I also saw your video on the Christmas giveaway and stuff. So cool, man. Thanks for the shout out. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, the video on soil testing was helpful. So just keep going, man. Keep going with your channel. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, my favorite Christmas movie of all time. What is yours? What is my favorite Christmas movie of all time? I don't know. I don't know if I really have one. Die Hard? I don't know. I kind of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. That was kind of cool. I don't know if that really counts as a Christmas movie, but I kind of like that one. I'm trying to think of what else is with other good Christmas movies. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably Die Hard. But it's not really a Christmas movie. I know. I don't. I'll have to put some thought into that and give you a better answer. But that's the first one that comes to mind. Let's see. Doug C has a question. He says, Ron, with your post earlier on soil testing, should you do one test for the property or for each area of your grass? It depends, Doug. The best. Okay, so the best method, or if you're really trying to be super detailed about the results you're going to get, is you would do a test for the front lawn and then one for the back lawn. Because this season I've been using one test for like the front and back all around, I've just continued doing that because I did the day that video was released, which it went live today, and I did the soil test I think yesterday. It all runs together. It's either yesterday or Wednesday is when I did the soil test, and sent it out. Just to make sure I'm comparing the results for this season, I used one test for the entire lawn. Starting next season, I'm going to do one for the back and one for the front. I'm going to do two tests I'm going to do two kits per test, so I can get a little bit more detail, a little more granular about how the turf is doing. Overall, my soil seems to be pretty good. The grass seems to be doing really well. The front lawn is actually doing better than the back lawn. So perhaps doing one just for the back so I can isolate any issues in the back lawn is probably a good idea. But it really depends on you and what your goals are. If you are trying to get the best and most tightest result possible, like treating the lawn, different parts of your lawn exactly as needed, do a soil test for the different parts. One for the front lawn, one for the back lawn is usually a good idea. If you need to know where to get one, you can check out my link here, ron-henry.com/soil test. That will take you to my soil. Full disclosure, that is an affiliate link, so I will get a very small percentage of whatever the cost of the test kit is. Costs nothing extra to you, but it's a cool and easy way for you to support the channel and to support support the channel and to test your soil. So hopefully that helps answer your question. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of soil testing. Tell you guys, my plan next year is to try and I'll use a lot less fertilizer on my lawn. I'm going to keep doing carbon every month, and I'm going to really see how well I can get the turf to continue looking just by maintaining, trying to make the soil as healthy as possible by just using a lot of these carbon products, things that just kind of help improve the quality of the soil. So awesome. And you see you have 3 sections of grass. When you say 3 sections, do you have are you mean like a big front lawn, a big side area, and a big back lawn? In that case, maybe 3, but I mean, just depends on how much you want to spend on test kits. They're I think there's a setup that my soil has that gets you a couple of tests at a discounted price. Let me look here. Make sure I'm not lying to you. No, yeah, I'm not. So yes, if you look here, Doug, right here. So my soil, the 2-pack kit, you get the 2 test kits and the probe. That's going to save you some money by doing that. I should, one thing they should probably also consider doing, I might have to email them and suggest it, is also offering a 2 kit, offering just 2 kits, right? Because once you get the probe, you really only need the probe one time. But maybe if you want to buy a couple of kits in bulk, maybe there's an option or a play for doing that. So, but yeah, that's where you can get it. That is what I'd recommend. And yeah, go from there. All right. Let's see. Timothy Wolf, he says, I missed a couple of your shows. Glad to be back. My builder put down Bermuda and had to take up some areas to fix. I noticed the Bermuda they put down is a brighter green. How can I blend it? Man, I got some bad news for you. It depends on Timothy, in the comments, put down how much time difference there's. Are you talking about you had new lawn put in and a week later they came in and put some new in, or a couple weeks later they put some new in? Or are we talking about they put down sod in the spring, you had some sections that never took, and then this winter they're putting in different sod? Because if the latter is the case, you might run into some problems, kind of like what I had, where the color differences are just not going to really fully blend. In which case, depending how big of an area we're talking, I don't know how big of an area you're talking about here, but if it's a small enough area, you could pull it up and then just do some transplants, put some sprigs, some plugs in that area to try and get it to grow in. But yeah, I need a little bit more detail. If you don't mind, answer below, how far apart they are, because it could be there's some color differences in that. That Bermuda is just growing a little bit better than what you've had in the lawn before. But if it's been a long period of time, and they use different suppliers, it's possible that it might not match very well. I experienced that, and that's why I overseeded the entire lawn. So not great news, but give me some more details. We can see if we can come up with a solution for you. Let's see. Yeah, so Winterizing says the average price for a Swardsman cartridge is $400. $400 each. That's not cheap, but that's not bad either. Because you figure, let me think about it. If you go out and you rent an aerator, not an aerator, if you rent a verticutter, it's to get your lawn cut, it's $100, $120 to rent one for a weekend, thereabouts. And the fact is, once you have the cartridges, you're going to do it more often. So it sounds like a lot, but it's probably actually a pretty good investment if you're serious about your lawn and you really want to ensure and have the option to be able to do whatever you need to do to it to help it to grow and thrive as well as possible. So let's see. Let's see here. Getting to Cheryl's question. It's just Cheryl asks, Ron, do you scalp zoysia before top dressing? Zoysia, it grows very slowly. I don't know that I would scalp it like I do Bermuda. Like I would definitely take it down lower. So depending on your height of cut, let's say you're cutting Zoysia right now at like 1.5 inches, right? Maybe taking it down to 1 inch, somewhere around there, and then top dressing it. It would probably be a good route, but I wouldn't go down like how I scalp Bermuda, like to like 1/2 inch or anything like that, because Zoysia, depending on the kind you have, it does grow slower than Bermuda, and you don't want to, end up with an ugly lawn for any longer than you have. I mean, you can cut it lower. That's why I said that that really you want to do it once the lawn is actively growing. That's why I think that March and April is really too soon. You want to do it when they're starting to get some heat into the soil. But yeah, I would definitely, assuming your height of cut is not already at 1 inch, I would bring it down to around that area and then top dress it, because then once it wants to grow back in, you're gonna be able to maintain it at that lower height of cut and really enjoy it. So yes, Cheryl. I guess the best answer to your question is it depends. If you're growing Zoysia super tall, I guess you are going to kind of scalp it. But if you're growing it super tall, you're doing it wrong anyway. So yeah, I would bring it down to 1 inch, top dress, and then slowly work it down to whatever height that you want. If you want to maintain it lower than 1 inch, maybe slowly over the season goes. Once the lawn recovers, work it down to that height. The big thing with grass, especially with Zoysia, is because it grows so slow, like adjusting heights of cut is something you have to do over time more, and to get to have the lawn remain green while you're doing it. It's not like Bermuda where you can do, a lot of these guys you'll hear talk about height of cut resets. So like say, good example, let's say you're maintaining your Bermuda at 1 inch, right? You go on vacation for a week, don't cut it, or 2 weeks, don't cut it. It grows up to 1.5 inches. If you want to get it green at 1 inch, you could cut it at 1 inch, but that's a slower way of actually getting the lawn to come back to 1 inch height of cut and stay green. With Bermuda, you could actually go lower. You cut it down to like 0.7, 0.75, somewhere around there. And then what grows back is going to be green, but you can get away with that with Bermuda because it grows so quickly. With Zoysia, I might not. I probably would be leery about trying that. But yes, I would still lower the height of cut close to where you intend to maintain the lawn after top dressing. Hopefully that helps answer your question. So Small Southern Lawn says, what's the height of cut for Stan? I'm not sure. I guess he'll answer that for you. Hopefully that helps answer your question, Cheryl. Sorry it took me so long to answer. I just now saw that. Okay, Mower shares his goal for 2021. He says his goal is to overseed with Arden 15, like the master. And he says, what will your process be and how soon or after all will we top dress the lawn? Okay, so I outlined my process a little bit earlier in the live stream, Moro. Again, my plan quickly, just to recap, is to verticut the lawn, to thin it out a little bit, and I will then put my seed down using the same process that I showed you guys earlier this year, where I'm going to mix the Arden 15 with play sand to kind of give it some body, and use that to put that in my spreader and spread it that way. And then after that, it's just going to be watering to really keep the seed moist, so I get really good germination. I'm still on the fence of whether I'm going to put peat moss down. I'm considering doing that too. I saw a cool video that Alan Hain, the lawn care net, did on helping one of his friends. I think it was one of his friends. They were doing a big seeding project, and they put some peat moss down. They seemed to get really good results. So I probably would consider doing that as well too. But the big thing I am going to do is I'm going to verticut and then make sure the lawn stays hydrated for several weeks. As far as top dressing, it wouldn't be, at a minimum, it wouldn't be till like 6 weeks after the grass is germinating, is growing in well. Because my main goal next year is to get the Arden 15 to grow in really nicely. Top dressing is secondary to that. So great question. Great question. And then we have another endorsement for Headway G. Cheryl also was dealing with some dollar spot in her lawn. She put some Headway G down, and it knocked it out in one app. So you meant Syngenta and Bayer. Like, those two companies have their game together when it comes to creating products that are awesome for your turf. If you apply them at the rate that they tell you to apply them at, like you do get the application right, you're going to get great results. Like, I'm a huge fan of Caravan G. Headway G is an even better product for just something that's just targeted just at lawn fungus. It's like literally one of the best products that you can buy, and it's really not that expensive, given the results that you get with it, and given how much damage lawn fungus can do to your lawn if you let it get out of control. So, Cheryl, thanks for sharing your experience. Glad to hear that you got you got good results with it. And Cheryl, oh, so Cheryl already has. I didn't see Cheryl. You've been holding out on me. I knew you got a true cut. I didn't know you got the grooved roller on it. See, I didn't. Okay. See, I thought we were friends, but you're holding back lawn secrets on me. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you got the groove roller and that you're getting really good results with it. I mean, I imagine it's going to do really well, man, because I think a large part of what also helps the Greensmaster produce a great cut is that grooved roller that's on there. So I'm really looking forward to giving the True Cut an upgrade and letting it go toe to toe with the Greensmaster and seeing how well it can do. So, but thanks for sharing that you also have one on yours, and that's awesome. And yeah, thank you, Small Southern Lawn. I think Die Hard is the best Christmas movie. It's one of the best ones, right? Come on, Bruce Willis, it's awesome. It's an awesome movie. I mean, it's old now. Watching it now kind of makes you realize the special effects back then were really not that good, but I still like it. It's really good. Sea Hill vote is A Christmas Story, a classic. Yep, that's probably a better Christmas movie for the season, more fitting. Sea Hill, how many soil tests would you recommend per year? Okay, so at a minimum twice per year. I would do one at the beginning of the season and then once in the fall. So if your budget permits you to only do a couple of soil tests, I would do one in the spring, like the March, April timeframe, and then one again in the fall, September-ish or so, to see how the lawn is doing. It lets you know how the lawn is coming in when or how the health of the soil is when your lawn's about to take off, assuming you're dealing with a warm season grass. And then as you're going into dormancy, like those last minute applications, those last minute adjustments you can make to the soil to put the lawn to bed with good soil and good shape. So in the spring, you're in better shape coming around. So at a minimum twice per year, if you can afford it, I would do it quarterly. I mean, it also depends on how much really you want to spend and how bad your soil is. I mean, once your soil is in good shape, really, it doesn't move around that much. Like pH doesn't move around that much. So, if you're trying to get things, if you're trying to adjust your lawn from really, really poor soil to getting it in better condition, testing every 3 months quarterly makes a lot of sense. Once your soil is in better shape, twice a year is probably sufficient. I did a test this week because I need to practice what I preach, right? I just put out a video with you guys on winterizing and saying if you're going to put down like a winterizer, you're going to put down like a fertilizer or some kind of product in your lawn for the winter, you should probably do a soil test to make sure you're putting down something that actually makes sense. So I can't, in good conscience, just put something down and not soil test, right? You guys would break me over the coals if I did that. So that's why I did one this winter. So let's see. All right, and then Edward says, I pronounced your last name Bonet. Okay. Correctly. In the springtime, he says you're planning to apply protamine. Do I apply lawn food at the same time or wait a week or two? Yeah, so you can. So it depends on the spring. When in the springtime, let me bring up that my blog post on that for you guys to take a look at, because a lot of you guys I don't think are checking it out, and there's a lot of really good info there on this. So if we go back to here, this is my blog, a step-step guide for creating a golf course lawn by yours truly. At the bottom, if we scroll down, we've got reviews, fertilizer stuff. At the bottom down here, there is a month-by-month breakdown. Let me actually get this off the screen so it's easier for you guys to see. There we go. Yeah, so there's a month-by-month breakdown of what I would recommend as far as by March. Put down your spring pre-emergent. If you're dealing with Milo, you want to go the more organic route. Once your soil temps are about 55 degrees, start applying that. So month by month, I literally break down what I would recommend doing to your lawn. This is a generic month-by-month breakdown. It's definitely a lot more hardcore than what most people are doing, but you're going to get a really good result following this. So Edward, if you've not checked this out as yet, I'll actually put it in the chat for you guys there. This is what I'd recommend that you look at that way, because I have everything listed out there, and that's what I would recommend. So put down your pre-emergent of choice. Late March, early April, you can then begin putting down your fertilizer that you want to start using for the season to kind of help feed the lawn. Get your soil test done around the same time as you're putting your pre-emergent down. So like March, just like I was just saying, so you know intelligently what kind of fertilizer to put down. And just go from there. Once the soil's in good shape, man, it's really not that complicated. The grass is going to grow. I mean, grass grows all over Earth without us doing anything to it. So Big thing is get the soil healthy and you're going to be good to go. Hopefully that helps. Timothy Wolf says 2 months. Let's see here. Gary Gale checks in. Hey, Gary, thanks for chumming in the live stream, man. He says, hey, Ron, what's a good weed control product to put down on your lawn that's not really going to turn the lawn brown? Okay, so my favorite one, I'm pretty sure, if I haven't scrolled down to see what other people have said here, but my favorite weed control that I like to recommend for people that are new to lawn care, because I think you're going to have, it has the least likely, the lesser chance of doing bad stuff to your lawn, is a granular product called Spectracide. So I will show you that right here. Those of you guys that are vets of the live stream already knew I was going to say. You guys already knew. You guys are probably saying he's going to say Spectracide, and you were right. But this is the product, Gary. So this weed stop from Spectracide, it has both a pre-emergent and a post-emergent in it. So it controls a lot of different weeds, and it's going to kill like actively growing weeds, and it is going to prevent new weeds from growing. The only thing about this particular product that that is super critical, and you got to listen to me on this, it's super important. If you decide to go with this product, is you must apply it when the grass is wet. You got to apply it when the grass is wet. Right now, this product is probably not a great fit. I mean, you can, if you're dealing with some winter weeds that it can treat, you can put it down. But you know, it's really the idea with post-emergence is that you need to apply them when the weeds are actively growing, so they'll take up the herbicide, and it'll kill them. But that is the one that I would recommend for someone that's getting into this and wants to that doesn't want to damage their lawn, something it's highly unlikely to turn your lawn brown. Let me put this in here for you, Gary. This is for you, Gary, and there. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. That's a great product that I've used several times in the past. I used it on my lawn this past season. I've used it on Alex's lawn, and it's a great great product that works very well if applied at the proper rate, which is like one bag covers 3,000 square feet, if memory serves me. It's not going to damage your lawn. It's not going to turn it brown. You might get some very mild yellowing in a few spots here and there, but most herbicides are going to do that. But that is the one that I would go with for what you're trying to do. I hopefully that helps answer your question. All right, so Linton has a question. What is top dressing? Top dressing is awesome. So top dressing, what is top dressing? Top dressing is the process of applying sand or applying some medium to the surface of your lawn or of your turf, with the goal of doing a couple things. It serves two purposes. One is reason why most of us do it is to even out your lawn, like to even out the bumps and uneven areas, the dips and undulations in your lawn, so it gets that nice smooth golf course look. And the second is to introduce fresh organic material into the lawn. So it serves two purposes. I've got like a bunch of videos on top dressing. Actually, I will I know I've got a video on the entire process. I'm going to show you. I'm going to send you the one that I did for Alex's lawn. I'll show you. I'll put that once I dig it up here. I'll post that in the live stream so you can see exactly what it looks like. But it's one of the best things you can do for your lawn to get that golf course lawn look. Because what it does is, again, it smooths out the surfaces, all the uneven spots. The reason why like a golf course green like looks the way it looks, and why golf courses, like especially the tee boxes and the fairways, look the way they look, is because they top dress them. I mean, the reason why golf courses are so visually appealing or so beautiful is because like really smooth turf is not really a natural thing. Like in nature, that doesn't normally really happen, right? So top dressing is the process that we use to level the lawn, to introduce to get rid of all those those bumpy spots, to create that really cool golf course lawn look. And I will post a link here. That is the link to a video that I did with Alex, where we show you the entire process using equipment. You don't have to have all that stuff, but that shows you, like, if you're going like full tilt, that is how you would do it. And the question you're asking me, what type of sand, play sand, a multipurpose sand? In Georgia, we tend to use what we call river sand. I think it can also be called masonry sand. I would use something like that over a play sand. Play sand can work for doing like spot top dressing, but I wouldn't do the entire lawn with it because play sand is very fine. And part of what using a coarser sand does is because it's coarser, there's little voids in between like the top dressing material. So it's going to allow the lawn to also to absorb more water. Like whenever you top dress your lawn, one thing you'll notice is that your watering requirements are going to go down. The lawn is going to hold on to moisture a lot better. And a coarser sand, a slightly coarser sand, like a masonry sand or a river sand, is better for that than play sand. I wouldn't do a huge top dressing of your lawn with play sand. I would use a coarser sand. But hopefully that helps answer your question, Linton. It's a great question. It's an awesome thing to do. It's a ton of work. The video I just posted there in the chat will show you what you're signing up for if you decide to do it. But it's a ton of fun. Get a couple buddies together. Help each other out, and it's an awesome thing that will transform your lawn in ways you cannot imagine. Let's see. Timothy Wolf says he had some drainage issues. It's a 6-foot strip in the middle for 15 yards. So I have some original sod and then new sod in the back. I guess I need to oversee with. No, okay, guys, listen. The answer to everything is not to oversee with Arden 15. You can do it, but here's the thing. You are trading. What's the best way to say this? You are trading one problem for potentially a different problem. Because yes, if you have like a patch of grass that is like this new sod they put down, that's a different color and it's driving you crazy, you can either rip it all out and just put plugs in, which you're probably not going to do, is what I'm guessing, or you could overseed. You can overseed the lawn. You can overseed that area. You can overseed the rest of the lawn with something like Arden 15, which is a great. I mean, I did it, but what I wanted to show you guys in this series, if you guys have been following, I know the videos aren't that exciting, but what I've been trying to show you guys in that video that shows the difference between Tifway 419 and Arden 15 is that if you overseed, it is not like I put down seed and all of a sudden magically my lawn is all one now new glorious even color. It's just not going to happen that way. I mean, you can, if you do a really, really good job, you can get a pretty good result with it, but there's going to be some color differences, especially when the lawn is going into dormancy. You don't really see it. Like what you guys are seeing in my lawn now, you guys didn't really notice the color differences too much when the lawn was actively growing when it was summertime. But whenever the lawn is coming out of dormancy or going into dormancy is when you're going to see those color differences. Because Arden 15, or in his predecessor, Princess 77, wake up out of dormancy sooner than a lot of the other Bermuda types. So yes, Arden 15 is an option. Just realize what you're getting into, what you're signing up for. And, I always want to say that. That's why I purposely have been doing this series to show you guys what you have to deal with if you decide to overseed. But I mean, that's definitely an option. I mean, an overseed in like within a year and a half, you could even all that out and have the colors looking a little bit more even. Because what you end up with is a blend of Arden 15 and whatever the grass type is. So it very well might help. Okay, let's see. Alan votes for Grumpy Old Men as his Christmas movie. It's a good choice. And let's see. Timothy Wolf chimes in. He says, no, that is not Timothy Wolf's comment. The Wind Chariots comment. He says, hey, Ron, have you ever considered aeration? I plan on aerating, top dressing, verticutting, then overseeding. Yeah, so I did aerate earlier this year, prior to overseeding, or I aerated earlier in the season. My lawn's been aerated twice this year. So I did aerate earlier in the season. There's a video, if you look at my channel on that shows that. So I did aerate prior to seeding, but I'm going to verticut this next in 2021 as my method of choice, because I figure that's going to also kind of create those channels, almost like faux seed slitting, like slit seeding as a method. So I could aerate too. That's a good point. I could aerate, but I'm not going to top dress. I'm going to aerate, verticut, and then seed. I don't think I will probably not top dress as part of that too. The top dressing will probably come later on. But great suggestion. Most definitely. Let's see here. All right. So Russell says, Ron, I get so confused on all the different types of products, what they're used for. Could you offer a list of recommended products and what they're used for? Yeah. So again, Russell, at that link that I just put on there, ron-henry.com/golf course lawn, the link that's right here. Like in there, I outline my entire process of how I personally think you should go about creating a lawn like what I have, because that's what that blog post is a documentation of what I did. And in there, I listed different products. But in a nutshell, some of the things we can talk about, fertilizers, pretty obvious. Fertilizer is a means of introducing primarily macronutrients into your lawn. Introducing nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium into your lawn. Nitrogen promotes typically growth, green grass. Phosphorus helps promote roots, and then potassium helps with hardiness of the plant overall, and just like the plant's ability to metabolize the stuff we're putting into the soil. So it needs all three of those in the right ratios to do well. A lot of times you hear us talking about pre-emergence and post-emergence. So pre-emergence are just what they sound like. So it's a herbicide. They're both herbicides. It's a herbicide that you apply to the soil, to the lawn, prior to the weeds emerging. That's why it's called a pre-emergent. So you put down a pre-emergent, it forms this really thin barrier in the soil that whenever the weed seeds that are in the soil when the grass gets warmer and the weeds try to germinate, when it hits the chemical that's in pre-emergent, it interrupts that germination process. That's why a lot of times you hear us say that when you talk about putting down a pre-emergent, you don't want to put down a pre-emergent if you're planning to overseed or seed your lawn, because it can hurt your germination rate. Post-emergence, like some of the products from Spectricides, like Speed Zone, like Dismiss, those are selective herbicides that are post-emergence, meaning that you've already messed up, you didn't put down your pre-emergent, or some weeds got through, the weeds are taking over your lawn, you need something to knock them back and to get the lawn under control. That's where your post-emergents come in. That's the weeds are already out. We need something post them emerging, post them growing, to apply to them to kill them off and not kill our grass in the process. So fertilizer, pre-emergence, post-emergence. When it comes to carbon, what carbon does is it's a way to introduce very, very rich organic material into the soil, and it's along with a lot of carbon products, like the one that I like, the one from Lesco that Miramichi Green makes, called CarbonPro G. It has three components to it. It has biochar, which is the carbon component, which helps with water retention. It helps to do what a lot of times they call that liquid aeration. It has compost, which is again just introducing rich organic material into the soil, and then it also has a microbial package, which again kind of aids in this term you're seeing being made popular in industry, called liquid aeration, where the microbes, the little creepy crawly guys that are healthy, the healthy bacteria for the lawn, they go in and they break down the fertilizer, they break down a lot of the products we put into the lawn, and their waste product is then makes the nitrogen into a form that the grass can take up and grow and thrive. So in a nutshell, the stuff you hear mainly mentioning are your fertilizers, your pre-emergence or post-emergence, and then the carbon products. What else can I tell you about really quickly here? PGR. So PGRs are your plant growth regulators. That is really almost a necessity if you don't want to have to mow your lawn every other day once summer heat hits, and if you are fertilizing your lawn, or if you're feeding your lawn the way that I do to keep my lawn super green like throughout most of the season. So pre-emergent is a plant growth regulator. It interrupts gibberellic acid synthesis. So whenever the plant's trying to grow up, the cell division that causes the stalk of the plant of the grass to grow up, it interrupts that process or severely retards it, so that the plant doesn't grow tall. It has to grow out. It grows like laterally, which helps create a tighter weave, darker color because the leaf is older, all this kind of stuff. There's tons of benefits to using PGR, but in a quick, 3-4 minute discussion, that's kind of a lot of what a lot of the terms mean. If you want even more detail, check out this link here where I go into a little bit more detail on those. But that's in a nutshell, like what your common lawn products that you hear most people mention, what they are, what they do, and why you need them. And you need all of them in the correct amounts for a good lawn care program. And a huge part of knowing what to apply is getting a soil test done. So a soil test is going to tell you what kind of fertilizer to apply to your lawn that's correct for your soil. That's why this is really important, and it's actually cheaper than a lot of fertilizers. So definitely do that if you're if you're serious about keeping your lawn in great shape. Next question. Good question though. That's a good one. I haven't had that one before. That's an awesome. That'd be a really good video. I should actually make a video on like all the different like lawn care products and what they do at a high level. That's an awesome question, Russell. Let me make a note of that one. Let's see here. Moro Marcilio has a question. He says, could we continue to drop CarbonPro G during winter months? Yes. I applied some. If you've been following my YouTube stories, I applied it earlier this week. I think Monday this week, I applied CarbonPro G to my lawn. Did my December application. And actually, in the video that you guys will see, kind of a sneak peek again, the next update, the next Tifway 419 versus Arden 15 video that's going to be released next Wednesday, you'll actually see, I actually show you guys the CarbonPro G. I put down 4 bags of it. I literally had the bags out to put down right after I finished filming that video. So you guys will actually see that I put some down last, like earlier this week. So, so cool. So yes. How often and what application rate would you recommend? And should we, when should we introduce CarbonPro L? So as far as the application rate, it depends on your budget. You can apply CarbonPro G at 2 rates. There is a 4,000 square foot bag rate, but so that's the heavier rate. So it's 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet, which ends up covering 4,000 square feet because it's a 40 pound bag. Or there is the 8,000 square foot coverage rate, which is you put it down at 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet, and that's going to get you 8,000 square feet of coverage. I've been applying it at the heavier rate on my lawn. There's really no negative to doing that outside of cost, because with carbon, it's one of those things you want to build up in the soil. It's one of those things you want to build up in the soil. I saw LG's super chat. That's what I'm laughing at here. So the thing is that yes, you can do it monthly, Moro. As far as the CarbonPro L, you can technically also apply that as well monthly. Here's the thing about the CarbonPro L. I'm more of a fan of applying that whenever the grass is actively growing, because the CarbonPro L also contains like some iron in it, right? And really, that's the benefit of that you're really going to see when the grass is actively growing. So the CarbonPro L, I would hold off until like early spring, say like March. When the grass is starting to come out of dormancy, that's when I would probably introduce CarbonPro L again. But CarbonPro G, you can do that. You can do that every month. That's what I'm planning to do. Every month, I'm going to be putting that down because unless your soil is like your ground is frozen, like if you're like LG out in Iowa somewhere where the ground is like covered in snow and the ground's like frozen, I wouldn't do it then. But if you're like the Southeast or the Southern United States where it gets really cold but the ground never really freezes, then yeah, you're good to put down the CarbonPro G, no problem whatsoever. So hopefully that helps answer your question. And if I can help with anything else, definitely let me know. Let's see here. Doug, I'm glad that you liked the blog post and the calendar on there. I've been asked time and time again to do that, so I finally broke down a couple months ago and actually did it. And you'll notice in there, the one thing that I put on that blog post, and it's not to be disregarded, is that at the top of it, I say, do not do this unless you are going to use PGR on your lawn. Meaning that like the frequency at which I am suggesting that you apply fertilizer or apply nitrogen to your lawn and all the other products that are going to help, they're going to really feed the soil and get the lawn growing vigorously. You are going to hate life unless you put some kind of a plant growth regulator down to control how much how much top growth you're dealing with. So at the top of that live stream, it has a caveat there. It says PGR. Only do this if you're going to put PGR down. So make sure you do that. All right, LG, thank you so much for the super chat, and I can always count on you to give me a hard time.
Super chat received.
And you are very welcome, man. Hopefully you guys also enjoyed the trimming the shrub video. I went a little heavy-handed on the shrub. I know I kind of butchered it up a little bit, but I really wanted to knock it down and get it looking in much better shape. So it was a fun video to make. So I was going to do a video on saying, hey guys, here's how you trim a shrub. And I'm like, no, I mean, everyone knows how to trim a shrub. It's not that big of a deal. So why not make something that's a little bit more entertaining and only takes like 2 minutes to watch, just more fun to watch. So that's why I put that together. And it was fun to make. Believe it or not, that video took longer to shoot than a lot of my other videos does because of all the little scenes that you saw in there. It's only like 2 minutes, but that literally represents 3.5 hours of setup and different camera angles and doing stuff over and over and over again. But thank you for watching the video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And let's see here. We also got Alan with the super chat.
Received.
A super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, LG's talking about, Mr. always has to give Ron a hard time on the live stream, but can never win the giveaway. Yeah, I went there. This is what he's talking about. I'll put the video. The video in the live stream here. Shameless plug. Right here. Only takes like a minute and like 2 minutes to watch it. Shrub video. You guys can see what he's referring to. It's a fun video to make, and you guys can check it out whenever you get a free minute. And Alan, thanks again for the super sticker, man. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let's see. What else do we have here? You're very welcome, Gary. Thanks for chiming in and asking questions. I really appreciate it. And Lamont, I think I covered your question about the different types of sand. So sand, play sand, or multi-purpose sand. Yeah, for top dressing in general, you want to use a coarser sand, so like a masonry sand, or what we often call river sand around here. Like that's a good idea of what you want to use for top dressing. One thing I forgot to mention is after top dressing, it's also a good idea to apply a pre-emergent after doing that. So let's say you top dress your lawn. Just for easy numbers, you top dress your lawn in early June, the first week of June. By the second week, like say a week or two after you finish the top dressing project, you want to consider applying a pre-emergent, because even though masonry sand typically doesn't harbor as many weeds as like topsoil will, your top dressing is also like a one negative to it. And one thing I didn't really talk about, and seeing your comment kind of reminded me of this, Lamont, is that when you bring any kind of soil into your lawn, any kind of material in your lawn, whether it be sand or soil or whatever, you're also probably bringing in potentially some weeds along with it, or some weed seeds along with it. And think about it. We're going to be putting this fresh sand or this fresh organic material on a lawn that is got fresh fertilizer. It's going to get a ton of water. It's like a perfect breeding ground for weeds to take off. So after top dressing, applying a pre-emergent is a good idea, just to kind of knock that back, to prevent that from dealing with a big mess, as a result of doing it. So it's one thing I didn't mention, and I should have, but just something to consider. A lesson that I learned both on my lawn and Alex's lawn this season. So that's why I want to let you guys know that. And I'll probably make a video next season as well. I'll put that on my calendar to do, talking about top dressing in general, and like how, and to break down in detail like how I'd recommend going about it, like what products I'd recommend, and also the importance of using a pre-emergent after doing so to minimize a big weed outbreak once you are done. Paver sand. Yeah, paver sand is another name for it. That'll work too. Let's see here. Bo Muhammad says, hey, Ron, when it rains, my property has water it stands on it. My lawn is almost level. So here's the thing, Bo. You want to make sure you have decent drainage, because standing water is one of the things that will contribute to lawn fungus. You don't want standing water to sit on your lawn for extended periods of time. When I say extended periods of time, let's say you have like a heavy rain. By the next day, like say it stops raining like at 5 p.m. by lunch the next day, certainly by 5 p.m. the following day, that water should no longer be standing. It should have drained off. One thing I want to let you know for sure is that I used to have the same problem with my lawn. Like literally, my lawn, that back lawn, with any kind of rain, not even a super heavy rain, it used to turn into a lake every single time it rained. Every time it rained, because the soil we have here in Georgia is that Georgia clay, that red clay, and it doesn't absorb water nearly as well as like sandier soils do. So one thing I noticed is that when I started top dressing my lawn, like after the very first time I top dressed it, the ability of the soil, of the turf, to absorb water went up a lot. So like it's only during super torrential downpours. Like we had that hurricane that went through here a few months ago. Sally, it was. I think Sally, I showed you guys some video on the live stream of what my lawn looked like after Hurricane Sally went through. And it in that case where we had like a torrential downpour, I think it was like 8 inches of rain or something like that. In that case, yes, I still got an issue with what was standing water. But top dressing is something you can do that will help with that. So, and I think I still have the video here. I'm not sure if it's, I probably can't dig it up I can't probably dig it up that quickly, but let me see. Nope, I don't have it here up that quickly that I could be able to find it for you guys. But I could show you, I'll show you guys next week on the live stream, like what the lawn looked like. Cause it was literally a small little lake out there. But Bo, make sure you've got decent drainage in place, and consider top dressing your lawn. Make sure you have good drainage, and a good top dress is something that's also going to help with standing water on your lawn. Yes, I should. Yeah, and I read just. I'm scrolling down here and I'm listening to your thing. Yes, will top dressing help this? Yes, top dressing will do wonders for that kind of problem. So yeah, absolutely. You absolutely want to consider doing that. Yep. I absolutely would consider doing that if you want to clean up the mess. I'm trying to quickly see if I can find that Hurricane Sally thing. I don't have the video, so I have to do it another time. All right, so let's see here. Other questions we have from Kevin. He says, Bermuda will spread even if you have one blade if you're patient. You have to kill the weeds, feed, and sand. Yeah, that's good stuff, Kevin. Yeah, as far as Bermuda is, you remember, like we grow Bermuda. We in the South who are really well versed and enjoy a quality grass, really enjoy Bermuda. But in many parts of the country, it's gonna shock you to hear this because it shocked me when I found out too. In a lot of part of the countries, people do not like Bermuda grass. It's considered like a weed. I think one of the things they call it is devil grass up north, right? So it's incredibly tenacious once it starts growing. But yeah, I mean, it's the good thing is that you can get away with murder with it for the most part, as far as being able to do practically almost anything to it, and it's just going to keep ticking, and it spreads really, really quickly. So. Great point there, Kevin. Cheryl, what month do you start applying PGR? Great question. So once the lawn is growing vigorously, like I started in late April, early May, and I did it all throughout the season. So once the lawn starts coming in, I would refrain from doing PGR until the entire lawn is green. And then at that point is when I would consider doing it. If you're trying to save money, let's say you're paying a service to do it. Like if you say you're not someone like you that has like T-Nex and is doing it themselves. If you really want to like, if you only can afford to do a couple of PGR applications, do one in late June, in July, and then August. So 3 times. Like those are the months you absolutely need this stuff if you're doing a lot of fertilization to your lawn. But for me, in my case and in your case, what I would recommend is I start in late April, early May, and I applied it. My last PGR application was the end of September. So I start in late April and I do it every single month until the lawn starts to go dormant. So end of September, early October is when I do it. So as far as PGR goes, there are different schools of thoughts on like how often to do it. If you're using T-Nex, which I think is the one that you're using, T-Nex has a regulation period of 3 to 4 weeks. If you're trying to be super scientific, you can get on the Greenskeeper app and you can do like you can track what they call growing degree days to track when you need to apply it. But I just apply it monthly. It's just easier for me to remember, hey, it's the beginning of the month, time to get my PGR down, time to get my carbon down, and that's it. It's just super easier, less trouble because again, T-Nex 3 to 4 weeks is what you typically get as far as regulation out of a normal application rate. So hopefully that helps answer your question. In your case, once the grass is fully green, you can start. In my case, I would not recommend doing it before let's say like late April, early May. That's when we would start and just do it throughout the season. Hopefully that helps. And let's see. And in your case, again, you've got it. So there's not really any negative. I mean, a 1 bottle of T-Nex is like years worth. You're putting out like 0.25 ounces each time per 1,000 square feet. So it's not like you're going to run out of the stuff. Let's see. What other questions we have here? Let's see. So Dizzy Dallas says, I hope CarbonPro G comes to California. Site 1 gave this response. Let's see. What response did they give you? They said... it says, Site 1 Landscape Supply is responsible for the registration of the product. We are just a manufacturer. They have informed us that it's a pending approval by the California Department of Agriculture. Yeah, so that's it, man. It's good to remember to get those products certified by different states. I imagine there's probably a cost to the manufacturer. CarbonPro G is one you guys will probably get because actually I had a comment from a viewer on the channel earlier today. And they were saying the same thing you're saying. You can't get CarbonPro G in California as yet. But what you can get is a product called Carbonized PN, which is made by Miramichi Green. It is similar to CarbonPro G in the sense that it has the biochar and it has the compost, but it does not have the microbial package. It does not have this stuff. So the microbial package I talk about is this stuff here. It's called BioSpectrum. Like this is what's also in CarbonPro G as well, in addition to the biochar and the compost. So if you want to recreate your own CarbonPro G, you can just buy the Carbonized PN, which again is a good product. And then also get the Carbonized PN, which Site 1 should be able to get for you and put it down. Here's the thing though, full caveat, full disclosure, Carbonized PN is way harder to apply then CarbonPro G. CarbonPro G is a granular, like it's truly a granular. Carbonized PN looks and feels a lot like very, very rich topsoil. So to apply it, you're gonna almost need like a shovel and kind of, you're gonna need a broadcast spread it, kind of like you do like top dressing is kind of is probably your method you're gonna have to use to get that down. So that's one thing to consider, one kind of negative about it. But from a standpoint of effectiveness, it's similar. It's very similar or equal to CarbonPro G because the same people make it. And I had several conversations with them, and they said literally the difference between the two is one is granular and also contains the microbial package, and one is not. So they're both excellent products. They're both made by the same people. I would recommend just try out the carbonized PN while you're waiting for California to approve CarbonPro G for the state. So yeah, that's a stopgap. Let's see. LG says, "Hey Ron, when you're not mowing, what's your favorite thing to throw on the grill?" When I am not mowing, what's my favorite thing to throw on the grill? Typically burgers, or I like to make a good steak. I like to make a ribeye, so steak or burgers, and mainly burgers because burgers are super easy. Like once you get the grill hot, you can throw a burger on, and like literally in 8 minutes you can be done. You can do a bunch of burgers. Like I typically do 3.5, 4 minutes per. 4 minutes per side. Put it down 4 minutes, flip it 4 minutes, and then I'm done. So 8 minutes, you're done, and you're in eating. So steak a little bit longer depending on how you cook it, but typically a burger or a ribeye is my thing to throw on the grill. And I should be doing some more of that because I can't mow my grass anymore because of nature. All right, you're very welcome, Bo. And let me know. Definitely keep me posted as far as how the lawn turns out. If you have any questions, also feel free to drop me an email here, ron@ron-henry.com. If there's some question that is not answered in one of my videos, or you just have something detailed that you want to, you don't want to make it public or something, or you just want to ask a question, definitely feel free to make use of that. Send me an email. One thing I will tell you, if you guys email me and ask like, what product should I put down on my lawn to make my lawn better? Because that's a common question I get in email. Is I implore you, I beg of you to at least also submit a soil test results along with your question, because otherwise I'll be like, I don't know, Milorganite, Proscape, some of the. I mean, in other words, the literally fertilizer, the fertilizer that you put down literally should be in response to what your soil needs, and the way to know what your soil needs is to do a soil test. So it doesn't have to be necessarily this one. I mean, I recommend and I'd appreciate you use the one from My Soil, but if you include like the soil test results along with your question, it helps a lot with me being able to give you a better answer versus just kind of guessing. Because I don't want to do that because fertilizer costs money, and also I don't want to recommend something that's going to damage your lawn. So awesome. Yeah. So small lawn. Thanks for checking in, man. I really appreciate it. And Cheryl says, okay, Cheryl's going hardcore. She says, I'm going to top dress in May, so start PGR probably in June. Yep, that sounds great, Cheryl. That is what I would do. If you're going to top dress in May, let me think here. So probably mid-May. So if you're going to top dress mid-May, let's let the lawn recover first. Because here's the thing too: top dressing is also stressful to the grass. Like that, top dressing in of itself is going to slow. It's not necessarily going to slow growth. That's the right way of saying it. It's not going to necessarily slow growth, but the grass will be less tall than it would have been at that time of the year had you not top dressed. So probably a better way of saying it is that top dressing introduces some mild stress into the grass, which means that it's not going to be growing as vigorously. So I would make sure you've got the lawn is recovered fairly well prior to doing your PGR. So say you top dress, let's say May 15th, because you're dealing with Zoysia now, let's say June 15th is when you'd consider doing your first PGR app, assuming we're getting plenty of heat and the Zoysia's coming back and it's looking nice, and you're happy with how it's looking, then we consider doing the PGR. Yeah, that would be my recommendation. You don't want to do it too soon because it could help slow down recovery a little bit. I mean, here's the thing: I did PGR throughout the entire season, even when I was top dressing, and it didn't materially slow down recovery as far as I could tell. But I also have Bermuda, so that's one different factor there. With Zoysia, I really want to be careful. I don't want to do anything that's gonna damage your lawn or have you deal with like a sand lot any longer than you have to. All right, so Russell says, you just recommended PGR in May. Can you put it down just before top dressing, or would you wait till after? I would wait till after. I top dressed my lawn starting in late April and did it throughout the entire season. So even when I top dressed my lawn My lawn was technically under regulation. It still recovered just fine. But again, what I do to my lawn, that's me. And if my lawn takes 6 weeks to come to not be a sound lawn anymore, that's my fault because I was the guy that, had growth regulator on the lawn when I top dressed it, which you really probably shouldn't do, right? I would not want to tell you to go do that because if you're, I don't want you to be mad at me because, hey, Ron, I put down PGR and then I top dressed my lawn. And now like we're 2 months later, my lawn still looks like a beach. So, kind of, and to piggyback on Cheryl's question, let's top dress first, let the lawn recover, the grass come back a little bit, and then you can use PGR. Because again, top dressing in of itself is going to slow down growth a little bit. I mean, it's a stressful thing you do to the lawn. You're punching holes in it, you're aerating it, you're putting sand all over it, and the grass has got to grow through that. So that in of itself is going to reduce your mowing frequency. Like you're not going to be mowing for 2 weeks at best from post top dressing. So wait for the lawn to come back and then do PGR. That would be my recommendation. Let's see here. Bo says, after performing winterization on lawn November 30th, should I be doing anything else? You live in Maryland. Not really. I mean, if you want to put down some CarbonPro G, if you have a site one near you want to start putting down carbon for your lawn, that'd be a good thing to do as well. Assuming the lawn's not frozen, losing the soil is not frozen and you don't have a bunch of snow on the ground. That's something you could do. Yeah, I mean, but outside of that, no. I mean, if it's you winterized it, you put the fertilizer down to feed it. It doesn't really need anything. Just hurry up and wait for spring to roll around. Carbon is the only thing that I would recommend outside of that. Let's see. Dizzy Dallas, you are very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Let's see. Wind Chariot. Let me see. I'm going to get back to his question. He says, you really want to push Bermuda with fert after top dressing. Yeah, Wind Chariot, that's a good point. I mean, I do it prior to. So the way I do it is I aerate the lawn. I fertilize then. So it's like, think about it. So I aerate, punch holes all throughout the turf. I fertilize. So I get the fertilizer in all those nice little juicy voids I just put in the ground, in the soil by aerating it. And then I put down the CarbonPro G, and then I'll top dress. So now I am assured, like by putting down the fertilizer prior to putting the sand down, I am assured that fertilizer is getting into the soil where the microbes are going to break it down and where the grass is going to be able to take it up and start growing faster. So I do agree that, yeah, definitely pushing Bermuda with growth after top dressing. That's a strategy for sure. But remember, its ability to synthesize, to be able to use that fertilizer, to use the nitrogen in it, is limited by the ability of like the microbes and stuff to be able to break down the fertilizer and make it available to the plant. So that's why doing it as part of top dressing, doing it prior to putting the sand down is what I've done. I've gotten pretty good results with it, but I can definitely see how doing it afterwards could work too. If you're going to do it afterwards, I'd probably use a liquid fertilizer because that's just, again, is just going to uptake is going to be a little bit faster. You're not relying as much on microbial activity to make it available to the plant as you do with a granular. But yeah, that's a strategy that I could see could work as well too. All right, let's see. Helmet Ruckus, he says, nice car, by the way, dude. Nice Porsche. I like it. Good choice, sir. He says, down in South Florida here with Empire Zoysia lawn, hardly getting into the 50s. Yeah. Florida life, right? You guys are still still dealing with nice warm weather. We don't have that here in Georgia. All right, anyway, I digress. Hardly getting into the 50s. How would you go through winter with applying products to the lawn down here? Thanks. Okay, so Bermuda, I don't know what kind of, yes, you have a Zoysia lawn. So if your lawn's not going dormant, I'm not sure if it is going to go dormant. Because the 50s is probably going to fall off some. Because Zoysia is a lot like Bermuda in that once soil temps are above 65 degrees is when it really does well. It really begins to take off. You can continue feeding the lawn. Like if it's still actively growing, you can continue feeding it with fertilizer. I would do it probably though at a reduced rate. I wouldn't give it the full Monty, the same amount of fertilizer that you give it during the spring and summer months, because it is going to be growing slower in the winter months, even if it never goes completely dormant. So if it's still growing and you don't, where you are in Florida, you don't anticipate getting freezing weather ever. Like say you're like in the Miami area, Orlando area, perhaps, where it's not going to get down to freezing temps ever. In that case, you could continue following a fertilization schedule. You continue applying to the lawn based on your soil test results, based on what your soil test is telling you. You could continue feeding the lawn. Just go lighter. I would go lighter over the winter months than I would during the summer. The one thing you definitely absolutely can keep doing is you can keep doing carbon on the lawn. So if you've got a site one nearby you, keep putting down that CarbonPro G monthly. That's going to help the lawn continue to do well. And that's really the beautiful thing about carbon too is it's an investment in your lawn, because it's unlike fertilizer, which you apply and it's good for 2 months, 3 months if you're lucky. Carbon builds up in the soil. Like this stuff has like a half-life of like several hundred years. Like it just doesn't go away for a really, really long time once you put it into the soil. So it's like the more you put into it, the better you're helping your soil over time. So I would say a light fertilizer to continue feeding it, and then carbon. Just whatever the lawn needs based on your soil test results is what I would give it. Just be a little bit sparing on the application rates, because there's no reason to really give it a super hard hit of nitrogen if it's not really growing vigorously. All right. Tomco, hey man, what's going on, man? Thanks for checking in, dude. Thanks for commenting on the video earlier today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks. Glad you found some time to make the live stream, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Doug M says, hey Ron, I live in Northeast Atlanta too. Love CarbonPro G this past year. Just heard you say winter app's okay. I'm on it. P.S. What earphones are you using? I am using these are from Shure. A set of earphones from Shure. They are the oh god, I forget the model number. It's the SE 846s or something like that. Yeah, so it's like a set of headphones. I like I like music. I'm a bit of an audiophile. I like good audio. But I don't like having cans on. I don't like to wear like big headphones. So I have like some nice inner monitors that I use, but they're at the SE 846s if memory serves me right. I think what they are. I bought these like in 2013. They're almost like 7-8 years old. So I bought them when they came out like several years ago. Yep. So that's what I'm using. They sound awesome if you're looking for a set of really high-end in-ear monitors. Let's see. It says, Ron, your thoughts on root hume and seaweed extract? They're probably both good. Here's the thing. So CarbonPro L has kelp extract in it, which we'll call it the same thing. It's seaweed extract, right? It's kelp extract. So yes, I'm a fan of it. It's the CarbonPro L has that. I think there's a lot of merit to those products. They're a great addition to help feed your soil. But yeah, so if you can get CarbonPro L, use that. If you have some other product that has seaweed extract precisely in it, you could go with that. I don't know what root hume is. I've never actually used that one. But yeah, anything like that, any of those types of products, I'm a big fan of. The one caveat I would say is I am a fan of those types of products that don't contain NPK. Like I don't want to, when I'm putting down carbon to feed the soil, or I'm putting down like something that's like a soil amendment that with the goal of really improving soil health, I don't want to have to introduce NPK along with it. So as long as neither of those products that you're using contain, any NPK, that I'd say you're good to go. If you want a recommendation, I would say go with CarbonPro L, because I've used that and I love it. It works really well. And you can also get it now in a 1 gallon container that is it's like $120 something, $130 at Site One if memory serves me. So it's a lot more affordable than getting the 2.5 gallon jug, and a little bit goes a long way. So, but yes, in a nutshell, without knowing exactly what products you're talking about, I think that's a good idea. I think what you're suggesting is a good idea. Let's see here. Mauro Michelio asks, where do you plan on purchasing your carbon? I can't get carbon. I've got carbon on the brain, guys. Where do you plan on purchasing your Arden 15 seed? So I will get it either from Amazon. Whenever Hancock Seed has it on Amazon, that's where I'll get it. But if not, you can also go directly to Hancock Seed. They have it too. So you can do either way. I think they do free shipping, whether you buy it from Amazon or you buy it directly from them. So it's like 6 half a dozen. But the Arden 15 that I got this past season was from Hancock Seed. So I'm going to get the same one I'm going to get it from the same source next year too, just for consistency's sake. I mean, it's probably all the same stuff, but yeah, just to answer your question, Hancock seed is where I want to get mine. And the links that I have on Amazon will often reference, it's either them or, yeah, it will, I think it references the links that Hancock puts up on Amazon for Arden 15. So hope that helps. And Linton says, from earlier, it turns out I have a Remington 21-inch manual reel mower. Got to use it, man. Put it to work. I just need to find a place to sharpen it. Yeah, man. So just find like, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Remington. You might be able to get a sharpening kit online and sharpen it yourself. Or just find like if you're in, I don't know if you know if you're in the Georgia area or whatever, but if you're in the Atlanta area, RealWorks can probably do it for you. But if not, just look in your area, call your local golf course and ask them, tell them what you're dealing with. Say, hey, I got a reel mower. Who would you guys suggest I take it to sharpen it? I mean, they obviously can sharpen them, but they typically don't do that for the general public because it's a hassle and they got their own equipment to deal with. But they should be able to point you in the direction of someplace where you can take it to get it sharpened. But awesome. And yeah, break it out. And here's the thing. When you start using your manual reel mower, don't focus so much on the amount of effort that it takes to push it, because it is going to be more effort than the rotary mower you're using now, which is probably a self-propelled unit. It is going to be more work. Focus on the cuts you're getting. The cut that you're going to get with even the manual reel mower is going to be superior in most cases to what the cut you're going to get with a rotary mower because of the way it cuts the grass. You can think of it almost like cutting your hair, right? If you cut take like the sharpest knife you have in your, I mean, don't really do this. This is an example. This is only an example. If you have long hair, you take the sharpest knife you have in your kitchen, right? And you hold your hair out and you cut it with that knife. You could get a pretty clean cut if the knife is super sharp, right? Assuming the knife is very sharp and you're going really fast, you can get a reasonably clean cut. However, you take the same hair, you take a sharp pair of scissors and you cut it, the cut's going to be a lot cleaner. And it's going to be squared off. It's going to look really good. And that's the beautiful thing about reel mowers is that when it is a clean cut. So it does less, in addition to this looking awesome, it does less damage to the grass. It does less damage to the turf grass, which means less lawn disease. And overall, it's just going to, the appearance of your lawn is going to look better. So that's another reason just to use reel mowers if you can. As you can tell, I'm kind of biased. I'm a big fan of reel mowers. All right. Let's see here. Kevin says, hey, Ron, your comments were helpful this summer. Thank you. I live in North Minnesota with, I'm just going to say that the TTF fescue. I always, turf type tall fescue. There, I said it. It's always a tongue twister for me. 16,000 square foot yard. Wow, man. Yikes. It's a huge lawn. I'm glad that the channel was helpful. And I'm glad that you guys that even some of the cool season guys found the content useful. Because I mean, I know that I'm mainly a warm season guy, but I try to put out content at least towards the end of the season that should be helpful to everybody, because I really focus on improving the soil, and it doesn't matter what kind of grass you got, healthier soil, whether you got a warm season grass or you got one of the cool season grasses, or you got the almighty Bermuda. Good soil is going to help with that. So I'm glad that you found the content useful, and if I can help with anything, definitely let me know. I am here to serve you guys. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Same question. Does kelp give the same micros? Is all kelp equal? Hey, does kelp give me micros? Most kelp products, like I know that the CarbonPro L, I can actually pull it up here. I know the CarbonPro L also has some iron in it, which is a micronutrient. I think it also has a splash of manganese in there as well. So the answer to your question is that yes, because most of these products have, most of these products also have, in other words, when you get a sea kelp product or kelp extract product, it's very rare that it's only kelp extract. There's typically other stuff that's mixed in with it. I'm looking here to see if I can find the product label for it, because I don't have it right in front of me. But yeah, here we go. So I'll show you this. Let's go back, cut over here, and get my ugly face out of the way. You can see, so the stuff that's in CarbonPro L, you've got some microbials, you've got chelated iron, you've got some humates or humic substances, you got kelp extract, and you also have this thing called Mobile EX. And what that is, it's just a fancy branding that Lesco uses for their surfactant. So, and this also contains sea kelp. So the point I'm trying to make is, Yes, this one contains some of the micronutrients. So it's also also has some a microbial package and some micronutrients. And most of the kelp products you're going to buy are going to have that too. Not necessarily because it's the kelp that has it, but because they also put that in along with it. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, if you want a really good product, I can't vouch for the other carbon products or the kelp products. I've not used them. I'm sure they are fine. But I can only recommend, or can I go with what I have used and have had good results with. And I can tell you that the CarbonPro L absolutely works. Awesome product. I would highly, highly recommend it if you're looking for a kelp extract. It's also got some of the things that he was talking about. Like he mentioned root hume, which is probably like hume, meaning it probably has like some humates or humic acid. I'm just guessing based on the name. CarbonPro L has that. You got the kelp and you got the humates and iron, and you know it's a good product for just feeding your soil, which is ultimately going to make your grass better. So that is what I would go with. Let's see here. Nick Zavala says, "Hey Ron, asked about when to lay down Arden in the spring, and you mentioned a particular temperature. Is that soil temperature or ambient or average air temperatures?" That is soil temperature. So whenever you see me mention whenever to lay down putting down seed, that is I'm always talking about soil temperature, always. So the correct temperature or the recommended temperature for proper seed germination, good seed germination with Arden 15 is 65 degrees or higher. You can do it when it's a little bit lower than that, but really I'd wait for 65 degrees or higher. I didn't do that. Like my soil temps, if you guys saw my video when I put down CarbonPro, when I put down my seeding, the temps were probably like in the high 50s at some point, which is probably why I'm dealing with like some of the splotchiness in my back lawn that you guys see. So learn from my mistakes, wait till the soil temps are 65 degrees or higher before doing it. So soil temps are what matter. Air temps don't really, soil temps follow air temperatures. So really for the soil temps to be 65 degrees, an average of 65 degrees, soil temps need to be in the 70s for that to happen. And the way for you to know what your soil temps are is you can get one of these bad boys. Get yourself one of these rapid test digital soil thermometers. You can get them on Amazon for like $15. These things are money. Absolutely want to get one because this is $15. A bag of Arden 15 is like $400 for a 25-pound bag of it. So invest in one of these so you have the right data to know that you are putting down the seed at the right time. But yeah, 65 degrees soil temp is what you want. Let's see. Kevin is telling me something neat. He says, "Hey, Ron, you can get your Arden 15. You can get Arden 15 local in Conyers. Can't guarantee if it's your cultivar." Yeah, see, I could probably, I'd be leery, man. Unless it's the same stuff that I had, like it's the stuff from Pennington. I'd be afraid to do that. I want to use the same, why don't I get it from the same source, the same seed farm, if at all possible, just to give myself the best results of not having like 3 colors in the lawn this time next year, right? So just have just 2, hopefully just 1, because it'll all be even. It'll all be even. So, but thank you, Kevin. If you don't mind, Kevin, drop in the chat where it is. Oh, actually, I've seen here on the other one. You said it was Madison, Georgia, Master Landscape Supply for Arden 15. Thank you for that, sir. I'll make a note of that. Let me check with them. They might be able to get the Pennington Arden 15, so I'll check with them too. If I can support someone local, why not, right? So I'll take that under advisement. I'll definitely see if they can get the stuff that I need. Jay Williams, great channel. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. I have a cool season grass, but I still subscribe and watch all your content. I am really appreciative of that, sir. I'll try to produce stuff that's of a little bit of value for you cool season guys as well, but I really appreciate you guys subscribing and watching the content. It motivates me to keep going. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Static Alpha. Hey, Ron, what are your thoughts about doing a renovation with different cultivars? Super Seed Store has Arden 15, Monaco, and Rivera combo. You could do it. You could. When you say renovation, I guess you're meaning that you're going to rip out like what you currently have in the lawn. You're going to take the your current grass. I guess you're going to glyphosate it, like burn out whatever you have in the lawn, and pull all that out. Make sure everything's in good shape, and then put that down. Yeah, that would work. A blend of Arden, Monaco, and Rivera. It probably looks pretty cool, honestly. Those are all really good grass types. Rivera, I want to say, wasn't Rivera replaced by Rio, or is it the other way around? I forget. It's one of them was replaced. One of them is the old. I think Rio is the new version of Rivera. I believe. But yes, to answer your question, yeah, I wouldn't see an issue with that. If you're going to go through all the trouble of tearing out everything and you're going to burn it all down and put down, a seed blend, sure. I guess I don't understand. I guess the if there's a price savings on, if there's a cost savings on doing that, then yes. If there's no cost savings, in other words, if you're gonna pay like $400 something for 25 pounds of it, I would just pick one and just go with one. So that way you're guaranteed to have an even color throughout the lawn. Because you're gonna go through the trouble of doing an entire renovation. I would just go with just one if it's the same price. If it's a significant price savings, which I can't understand why there would be, but if there's a significant price savings, then yeah, then you could consider it. I mean, we're probably splitting hairs here. As long as you're getting rid of the current grass and putting down, just the same blend of grass seed throughout the entire lawn, it's probably going to be fine. But let me know which one you decide to go with. Definitely let me know. That's cool. I didn't know you could actually get a blend of those different grass types, so I'd definitely be interested in hearing how your lawn goes if you decide to do that. Pretty cool. Let's see. Nick Zaval says, would you happen to know if humic acid raises soil acidity? I have not. Humic acid, does humic acid raise soil acidity? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know that, Nick. That's a good question. It's a good question for next week. Humic acid, and then soil acidity. I don't know that. I think, I don't know. I'm not sure if it does. I wouldn't think so. But I'm not sure. I've never heard of that, but it's a good question. I'll do some research and find out. Let's see. Portugal Lawn here, sending regards to you all. Thanks for checking in, Portugal Lawn. Thanks for checking on the live stream. All right, Doug, thanks so much for chiming in, man. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and spending some time on the live stream. Awesome. And then Linton says he lives in Washington State, losing my battle against moss. It's everywhere. Yeah. The thing is, Washington, you guys get so much rain, and it's cooler weather. And especially if you're wherever you live, if there's not open, where if there's a lot of tree coverage, that's like all of those things kind of add up to a good breeding ground for moss. I mean, you can check your soil pH. I mean, if it's low, maybe adding some, we can maybe put some lime down to help bring that up. You can use some products like you're talking about, like the Lily Miller Moss Out or the Scott's Moss EX, like Moss X, that works pretty well too. But if the conditions are such that they are helping to promote moss, it's gonna be a challenge. The only thing I could say is, if you've not done one yet, Linton, get a soil test done, and check your soil pH, because lower pH, once your soil pH gets into the low fives, that kind of pH can also help promote moss, in addition to lots of coverage and the not good drainage, the soil staying overly damp and that kind of thing. But we'll see. If I can help with anything, definitely drop me an email, and I will do my best to help you out. There's my email address there, ron@ron-henry.com. And it's no problem, man. No problem about asking questions. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm hanging out. Because I figure the whole point behind the live stream is I put together videos on topics that I think represent most questions that people have. But sometimes you guys have very specific questions, like yours on moss, or questions on top dressing, or on which kind of sand. And I think I have answered some of those questions in videos before, but it's a great way for me to also interact with you guys and get to know everyone a little bit better, and also make some content. So it's valuable. It's a win-win for everybody, right? And let's see here. Will Ward says, Ron, if you cut your lawn at 1/2 inch height of cut, what height do you scalp early spring at that height? Thanks. Okay, so I don't maintain my lawn at 1/2 inch. So right now, after July, starting in late June, early July, I went to 0.70, and I maintained that all throughout the season. Like, actually, when I cut the lawn earlier this week, I cut it at 0.70 still. I mean, hardly any grass came off because it's just not growing. I'm just trying to stimulate the little bit of growth I can, a little bit of growth on the green grass that's left, trying to get it to come back. But yeah, so in the spring, to answer your question, because I'm maintaining it at 0.70, I'll set the true cut to just below 1/2 inch. and then I'll use that to scalp the lawn. So whatever your height of cut is, just go a little bit lower than that. So for me with my lawn, it seems to like 0.70. That's like the sweet spot of what the lawn seems to like. So I maintain it at that height. So for scalping, I can go at like 1/2 inch or just below to clean off all the and all that dead material and just kind of stimulate new growth. So so yeah, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Will, so I guess if you, what height of cut are you, just out of curiosity, Will, what height of cut are you maintaining your lawn at? Are you already real mowing? And if so, what height of cut are you running your lawn at this point? And then Winchard answers the question. He says, humic acid is a weak acid, so probably not a permanent effect on pH. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. And the thing with pH, and this is another reason why I made the video that I did and released today, talking about pH as part of like winterizing. And I use it kind of get people to watch it, because right now winterizing is the thing that everybody's considering. If you're a person that's like into your lawn, like I'm gonna put a winterizer down to kind of feed the lawn. I wanted to get out a video talking about soil testing too, because the thing with pH, if your pH is not where it needs to be, so you have low soil pH or you have incredibly high pH, pH is not like the macronutrients. It's not like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, where you can apply a fertilizer and literally within a month and a half, 6 weeks, you can see a marked difference in the soil makeup by doing that. pH takes a while to move. So even though right now we're not like actively mowing our lawns, we're not actively out there like cutting it and putting down fertilizer, like fixing the soil pH is something you can still do, and it's going to make the spring that much better. It's going to make it to where when spring rolls around, the soil's going to be like, oh, the pH is going to be where it needs to be, and the Bermuda is going to be like, hey, so the soil is in great health. It's going to come in that much better. Like I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have like great soil, because once you got that, then it's just mowing really for the most part. So Will says he's maintaining at 7/8, so just under an inch. That's cool, kind of like me. And then you said, I always read to scalp at half your normal height of cut. Thanks for the response. I don't know. I mean, maybe I guess you could. So if I'm at 0.70, so going down to 0.35. I mean, I typically scalp it at just under 1/2 inch. So I probably am doing that without really knowing that there's a rule. I'm not sure why that rule would exist. I mean, I think really just as long as you are cutting low enough that you are removing that old material and you're not getting into the point where you're cutting dirt, you're probably fine. In other words, I don't think it's really that particular, to be completely honest. I mean, there's people that don't scalp their lawns at all and their lawns still look pretty decent, but that's probably a good rule. Half your height of cut is not bad, but I would just say anything, as long as you're cutting it like reasonably lower than where you've been maintaining it. So in my case, I could probably scalp at 1/2 inch and be just fine. So, but great point. Thanks for chiming in. And the Static Alpha has a question. He says, do you know how long I can store seed before it goes bad? Is that even a thing? Just in case I get a good deal on it before the spring. Yeah, so that's a good question, Static Alpha. It's a great question. So typically what I've heard is you want to use the seed within the calendar year. So if you buy seed, like say you bought seed in January, so like next month you bought some seed, you'd want to use it prior to January 2022. No, yeah, we're in 2020. Yeah, 2022. So yeah, prior to a year. So you want to use it sooner than later. So because you can lose some of the seed over time. I mean, it is as long as you're keeping it in a dry place. It's not getting sunlight, it's not damp or anything like that, it should be fine. It'll keep longer. But if you buy it now, as long as you're putting it down in the spring, you should be absolutely fine. So if you get a good deal on it now and you're planning on putting it down in March, you're gonna be just fine. But what I wouldn't do is buy seed and store it for several years and then apply it. And also one thing you can do too is if you're buying seed now, if you call up like Hancock, or if you're using one of these other seed places like a seed farm locally or someplace locally, they should be able to tell you when that seed was bagged. Like you don't want to buy seed. Most good places will not sell seed that was bagged like several years ago, because they won't get good germination rates and people get mad because they spend a bunch of money on it. But it's a good question to ask them. And I mean, in most cases, they'll be happy to tell you how, when this seed was put in the bag, which usually it's within 6 months from the time you buy it. So Arden 15, if you bought it now, it probably was bagged late this fall or late summer. So if you're putting it down in the spring, you're gonna be just fine. But good question. It's a great question. Don't store it forever, but it's actually a very, very good question. Let's see. And I think our last comment of the evening is Russell. He says my pH is in the optimal range, but on the very high end. Should I let it be or just try to lower it a little bit? When you say the high end, you're probably saying what, high sixes, Russell. I would probably leave it alone, because here's the thing too. Like most fertilizer, most nitrogen fertilizers, or most fertilizers contain salts, which will naturally lower pH over time. That's why in most cases, what you find, like most lawn care services in at least in the Georgia area, you'll find that they do like lime applications to raise pH, because typically if you're applying fertilizers and you're feeding the lawn regularly, you like high pH is typically not the problem. It's low pH is what you tend to have, because so adding fertilizer to the lawn over time has a natural effect of, because of the salts that are in it, have a natural effect of lowering pH over time. So I would just leave it alone. Yeah, 6.8. Yeah, I would leave that alone. That's just a couple of points before perfect. I mean, I think 6.2, 6.3 is like the sweet, like the Goldilocks zone, like the perfect zone for Bermuda. But really anywhere between 5.8 all the way up to 7.2 is okay. So you're in good shape. I would not mess with it. I mean, if you by the time you start applying fertilizers next spring and everything, it's gonna naturally fall down a little bit. And maybe by this time next year, you might need to put a little bit of a lime down. Who knows? I mean, again, pH doesn't move around that much that quickly. So very, very cool. Well, cool, guys. I think I'm trying to see what else we had here. Oh, there was a question from last week, and I'll just answer it. I'm not sure if the person that asked it is on the live stream, but I had a question not last week, but 2 weeks ago. The question was around lowering the calcium in soil. So say your calcium is very high. Should you do anything to lower it? And the long short answer, I did some research on this, and the long short of the answer is no. Typically, the problem with calcium is that it's typically low, it's not high, and that it's normally going to come down over time. So like you have like, when it comes to your soil health, like pH is most important, and you have the macronutrients, and then you have like sulfur, calcium, sulfur and calcium, those are probably the big ones that come next, and then you have your micronutrients. So it's order of importance: pH, macronutrients, and then like the medium nutrients, like your calcium and sulfurs, and then the micronutrients like the iron, magnesium, zinc, copper, boron, all those. So calcium is one of the middle ones, and typically in most cases it's low. If it's high, it will just come down over time. And I got a good link here that I'll post on that, in case the person that asked that question is in the live stream, where pretty much what the recommendation is just to stop putting down stuff that's going to naturally raise it. So if you're putting down any kind of products to your lawn that contain gypsum, or if you're putting down fertilizers that also contain calcium as an additive, like just refrain from doing that. And over time, the calcium levels are going to reduce. And this is the link. So if someone watches this later, this is the link where I did the research and found that. So in case you're looking. Good stuff, guys. And I think I've answered all the questions. That is all I had for this evening. And as far as giveaways, so in the vein of promoting soil health, and because I really want you guys to, kind of practicing what I'm preaching, tonight we are going to give away a soil test kit. This is what we're doing tonight from my soil. This is the one that will go out. And to be eligible for winning, what you must do is you must answer the question of, it's actually a pretty easy one. It's an easy one. Is what was the video that I released this morning? What was the topic for the video that I released this morning on? What was I talking about? And let me get my timer out here. You're going to have 30 seconds, and the 30 seconds starts. Hang on, let me get my timer out here. You think I'd be more prepared than this? Okay, your 30 seconds starts now. So what was the topic for the video that I released this morning? LG, the video was not on Arden 15. Well, it was on, that's the Wednesday one. It's the video released this morning, Friday. You guys stop being lazy. Go check. Go look. You can. It's pretty easy. Go to the channel and look. You can look it up. Static Alpha says, I read that top dressing. Yes, Chris is the first one. Winterizing. Travis on winterizing. LG winterizing. And I read. Okay, and that's it. And stop. So our entries. Let's see. So this is what we got here tonight. We have. We have Chris Balducci. We have Chris in here. We have Travis. We have LG. We have Linton. Linton and Russell. And I already have JG, who's also like LG. We have Moro. Yeah, Moro, that's good. Soil sampling, we'll take that one. It's Moro. Marcillo. We have Cheryl, who's also on she says winterizing. Okay, good, so good. And then Static Alpha. Guys, now is it going to be LG tonight, guys? Do we think so? Do anyone want to take bets on if LG's going to do it tonight? I think, I don't know, man. It could happen, LG. Tonight could be your night, LG. Tonight could be it. Edward, and Blue Jay. Okay. And Robert. Princess Cut. Hey, George, what's going on, man? Thanks for chiming in the live stream, dude. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. So I think I got everybody. And then Super TA. Okay, Super TA. And then Robert Ruffin. Okay. I said Super TA. Okay, so as far as people, I have, make sure I'm correct here, and you guys can chime in if I really got your name out. I got Chris. I have Travis. Make sure I got, let me scroll up here, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Got Chris. I got Travis. I have LG. I have I Linton. I have C Hill. I do not have C Hill. I do have C Hill now. See, that's why I got to check. I have C Hill. Okay, so Chris, Travis, LG, Islandton, C Hill, Russell, JG, Moro, Cheryl, Static Alpha. So we're at 10. Edward, Blue Jay, Robert, and Super TA. So I got 14 people in here is what I think I got. I don't think I missed anybody. 14 people. So guys, let's go over. We shall now go to the Google. Here we go. The maker of hopes and dreams, of tears and celebration. All right, so we have 14 people, right? So LG, just in case you want to know, you are number 3, okay? So right now, I've got 14 people in here. Here we go. We're going to generate now. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm fingers crossed for LG. And we got number 8. So number 8. So we have Chris. It's not going to be LG. Chris, Travis, LG, Islinton, C Hill, Russell, JG, Moro. Moro Marcelio is the winner for tonight, I think. Chris, Travis, LG, Islinton, C Hill, Russell, JG, Moro. So number 8 is Moro. Cheryl, you almost made it. If you've been like one more earlier, you were next. You were number 9. So Cheryl almost got it. So Moro, if you don't mind, sir, send me an email with your mailing address. Mail it to here. ron@ron-henry.com. Moro, send an email there with your mailing address, and I will as our winner, and I will get the soil test kit out to you. Make sure you use it. Get your results in. Let me know how your soil's doing. Yeah, I'll look out for it. And LG, you're getting close, man. I mean, it was close, man. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen, man. Here's my recommendation is gonna be. I think if you just keep trying, it's eventually you're gonna get. It's gotta happen, right? You're eventually going to be the one, just not this week. Wait, Moro. Has Moro won? He's already won once before already. Oh man, dude, I don't know, dude. I mean, you guys saw. I am not rigging this. Literally, I'm doing it live with you guys, so there's no shenanigans, no funny business. I don't know. It seems that the people that go in the middle seem to be doing better, but I don't know. It's random, sort of, so it shouldn't really matter. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. I've not forgotten about you guys. I am still working on the Brant Supreme Green. I'm going to try and do that before the end of the year. Maybe we can do that as our Christmas giveaway. Maybe LG, that might be the one you win. You never know. Maybe. I'm still working on that. I have not forgotten, but just in concert with what I was talking about on the video today, soil test kit seems appropriate from my soil. So if you guys, even though you guys didn't win, I still encourage you guys to test your soil. If you need to know where to get one, right here, at ronhenry.com/soil test. Check that out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. On your way out, be sure to smash that like button. It really helps me out, helps the algorithm out. And I will see you guys next week. Oh, guys, one last thing. Next week, There's the live stream is going to be a thing, but I think there's also some of the warm season guys are trying to organize a live stream with a bunch of different like Bermuda people on it. So that may or may not happen. I'll definitely let you guys know. Just watch for the post on the YouTube channel. I'll keep you guys posted on if that's going to be a thing or not. Just keep an eye out. But if not, I'm going to be here next week Friday to chat with you guys. And we'll see what happens. I probably won't do another giveaway next week. I don't know, because I think there's only so much pain LG can take. I got to kind of spread it out. So we'll see. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing weekend.